So here's that claw.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of No Bucks Given right here on the Horny Goat channel and the Horny Goat Podcasting Network. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, whether it's, of course, right here on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/hornygoat, or your favorite podcasting platforms such as, of course, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, Google, and everywhere in between. It is a show where we talk about everything, and, of course, we have no bucks given. Of course, I'm joined by the wonderful Horny Goat crew with me tonight. I've got, of course, the bear from upstairs, Canadian Basement. What's going on, Basement?
Hi there. I'm ready to jack it. I'm
your
fucking
jacket.
freezing, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't really bitch about. I think we're all just fucking extremely cold. We've got, of course, the power couple of the Horny Goat. We got Heather and JP. What's going on? What's going on, guys?
Well, I'm here. That's all you need to know.
Just for a precursor, we are recording this on January the 22nd. A certain football game just finished, and I'm not. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, I'm just gonna yep. Moving on. We got the wonderful Gina. What's going on, Gina? Did Gina
Good talk.
Did I miss her? Did her microphone?
No, she's there, probably laughing at me for some reason.
Did Bear eat the microphone? We'll come back to Gina. And joining us for the first time on this week's episode, we've got the return of the mighty Bobbit. What's going on, Bobbit?
Pretty good. Watched a couple of good football games.
He's really far away.
To talk the news.
Hey, Bobbit, did you stick your head up your ass? I can't hear you. Well, I can't hear you.
Said he did. Yeah, you sound a little distant, Bobbit.
All right.
So, of course, we got a lot of fun topics to talk about, a lot of interesting little tidbits. I feel like I was about to say, like, how's everyone's week, with like the impression that we don't talk every fucking day. So it's hard to be like, how is everyone's week when we literally talk to each other every fucking day?
Yeah, I'm alive. So
Fucking A, man.
Oh, there's Gina.
Sorry, my computer. I moved my computer 5 inches, and you know the drill. The cord came loose, and it powered me down.
Shut it down.
you need a new battery.
It does need a new battery. I just need a new fucking computer. I can't do shit on this thing. It's just like a little Chromebook, and it's. Thank you, Ronnie, so much. I love you for the thought, but I don't know.
It's just a battery. You just need a new battery. That's all.
Before I buy a new battery for this, I'm gonna buy a new computer.
I don't know if that's smart, but anyway.
Of course, I want to give love to the chat real quick. We've got, of course, the wonderful regulars, Alpha and Jurgen in the chat. I also saw Paul Arzola and Tim. What's going on, Tim? Glad he doesn't have any tomahawks nearby, because I don't trust that man with any sort of weaponry anywhere near me. We got a lot of fun topics to talk about. And of course, we'll be interacting with you guys in the chat throughout the evening. So make sure you guys check that out. And also throwing some polls in the chat as well. So how is everyone's week besides being tired and fucking freezing?
Well, everybody knows how my week has gone, but I'm alive and I'm here. I mean, I don't want to sound cynical, but everybody that doesn't know, my father just passed away on Wednesday, and today was a good day, and then the end of the night just kind of I went over the edge. Well, no, I lost it. I almost broke my TV.
Instead, he broke Santa.
Instead, I broke Santa because he was looking.
Santa!
He was looking at me wrong.
AP, I feel like you need to channel your rage a little bit better. Look, we're gonna work on it.
I was doing okay. I was about to, but everything that's happened to me this week just did it.
Honey, I understand. Like,
No.
you've had a lot going on this week. I understand that, but you do not do well with football, mister.
Well, when you see stupid shit happen, you kind of fucking don't. I'm a former coach. So if you see stupid shit happen, you want to go there, we'll go there. You want to see stupid shit happen,
calm down.
Lose my shit.
Just calm down. I'm teasing. Jesus Christ.
I know you are, but you went there. So I'm explaining myself. It's okay.
No, but
Gina, put the fucking stick down and stop poking the bear and not
I'm
in our opening
not trying
basement
to
this
poke
time.
the bear. What I'm trying to
I'm not
Were
say
you
is
I'm not
fucking
trying to
with
poke the
it?
bear. I'm not trying to poke the bear.
to release his rage.
How'd you get bit by a rattlesnake?
Trying to poke the bear.
My rage is released. Now I'm coming down off of it, so it's just I'll be over it tomorrow because Mom's gonna ask me the dumb fucking question, and then I'm gonna fucking lose it again. So she's gonna be like, "What the fuck happened? What, you didn't see what the fuck happened? The special teams fucking sucks. That's why Green Bay lost today. Special teams for Green Bay is like I could take a shit and do better on special teams than Green Bay."
Great. Now I can't just picture just JP running into the middle of the field and popping a squat.
Fuck is
At least
going
I would have said,
on?
"Hey, we need another guy out there. Fuck it, I'll run out there. You never know, I might block the kick, you motherfuckers." It's common sense. It's 11 versus 11, not 11 versus 10 on special teams, you fucking morons. But anyway,
if you want to hear more, make sure you guys check out JP's show on Monday.
Oh, well, if I do it.
You need a
That's
shirt
fair.
that says, "Don't ask me about the Packers."
Yeah, don't, because
We can make that for outside next
And
year.
also, I'm gonna get you a punching bag. Like,
Yeah, you didn't need
Punching
to
bag.
be bullshit, Gina. Hey, I didn't need to poke
you're
the bear.
fine.
I
You're
didn't
fine.
mean
I
to.
didn't need to poke the bear.
Tina, it's okay. I'd rather get it off my chest because I don't want to dwell. I want to move on.
Right.
That's
Make
fair.
the pillow
That's fair.
tonight if you
Right.
didn't do it.
I'm gonna be up all night thinking of why the fuck is this gotta happen?
So, of course, if you guys want to follow along the conversations, we did link a lot of the stuff they're going to be talking about down in the description here on YouTube, so you guys can check out all the different articles and join along in the conversation. So I figured we have a lot of stuff to talk about, and last time went a little long. We went about over just about 3 hours. You know, not too shabby for our second episode. So this one we're going to try and keep the topics, I don't want to say minimal, but we're going to try and do not as many just because, as you guys may heard from previous episodes and just a few seconds ago, we tend to go off on tangents sometimes off of random things. So, you know, no apologies needed, JP. Listen, I'm guilty more than anything else because my ADHD brain is like, huh. And then like, I think of something like way the fuck off of left field. Like, oh yeah, by the way. And then there goes 20 fucking minutes. So, if you guys ever want to suggest any things, you of course hit us up right here on YouTube or on Twitter at the Horny Goat 1. We always love to take topic suggestions and whatnot, so feel free to send them our way, and we'll be more than happy to give you guys credit on the show. With that being said, there was some interesting stuff this week, and you guys, we obviously collectively get together and decide stuff that we want to talk about amongst the group, amongst the chat, and everybody else here. And it's funny, there was one out of all of them that I'm going to start off with that I think collectively we were all like, oh, that's interesting. And I think almost every single one of us said we definitely should, or most of us said we definitely should talk about here. And if you're a video game nerd, this is news that definitely perked your ears up for sure. And that is, of course, the announcement of Microsoft purchasing Activision Blizzard, or making the announcement that they have intentions to purchase Activision Blizzard in a $68.7 billion all cash deal. This is pretty insane.
Anybody else? Sorry, does that sound shady to anybody else?
And
What, the cash deal?
An all cash deal?
No, why would it?
I mean, unless it says it was all in single. The article says it was all in single. No, I'm kidding.
How do they have $70 billion?
I don't.
All cash?
Who cares? I mean, so the business itself is already liquidated,
Right.
so that's cash.
But yeah, because Activision fucked itself because they sexual
not even
harassment
that.
lawsuits like
Actually,
the
they
bad-
both fucked themselves. Activision
It's
and
still
Blizzard.
the games that they have built, and I hear fucking Ray Sean and Gina.
Oh,
and-
Activision can suck up my shit out of my ass. Fuck
yeah,
them.
well, I mean, but the sexual
I
assault
fucking hate
allegation,
them.
I don't know much about games, so Heather's gonna probably talk more about this than I do. I just want them to start making good games. I don't give a
It ain't
shit.
gonna happen.
Oh, I know it's
So-
not gonna happen.
So
But
it's an interesting.
please go ahead.
it's an interesting little it's a very interesting piece of news because number one, it came seemingly out of left field. Like there was no like rumors or discussions about this whatsoever. And of course, the two big parts of this is that number one, it brings the entire Activision Blizzard library over to Microsoft under their umbrella. But as Gina mentioned earlier, Activision has been in a bit of controversy in recent months due to allegations of sexual harassment and misconduct among company executives. What's that?
Blizzard got in trouble for shit like that too.
Yeah, they both did.
I just knew that. I knew that Activision did. I didn't know Blizzard did.
The one thing that's fucked up though is like, I actually think the acquisition of Blizzard is better than the Activision. Oh, sorry, the acquisition of Activision.
It really is, because Blizzard needs the help massively with World of Warcraft and the other one.
Well, if they release a second World of Warcraft, that shit made so much fucking money. It's not even funny. And they need to do a second one because the first one is so old at this point, they just keep reskinning it. But it's not only that. Diablo is a big name for Blizzard, and Overwatch is another competitive game.
So I have the full list of all the games that are under the Activision Blizzard umbrella that now are going to be over to Microsoft.
Candy Crush, can't stop playing that.
What's that? Candy Crush.
Just shoot me in the face.
Blur, Caesar, Call of Duty is obviously the big one that a lot of people are like.
But you know what? Call of Duty is starting to.
Well,
it's been on a downward spiral.
Money wise, it hasn't until like Vanguard, and now the
Cold War when they started doing the.
They've had a couple misses, I will say.
Yeah.
Because they released a game every fucking 5 months.
So I'm not going to go through all the names, but the big ones that are obviously that are that a lot of people tend to usually know is Call of Duty, Candy Crush, Crash Bandicoot, which is a personal favorite of mine.
Which is so fucking weird. Crash Bandicoot was a mascot for PlayStation. It's like PlayStation buying Super Mario.
Right.
Fucking would.
Diablo, obviously World of Warcraft, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which I was like, that's an interesting callback. Spyro the Dragon, Skylanders, Overwatch, as Basement mentioned earlier, Hearthstone, and of course Guitar Hero, which has been rumors that they might be revamping some of these or re-releasing or doing something with a lot of these franchises. So there's a lot of interesting tidbits, and from what I've read online, the rumor is that the Activision CEO will most likely be stepping down once the acquisition's done. But on top of that Xbox or Microsoft is looking to. The big question is, of course, a lot of these, specifically Call of Duty, are cross-platform games. Obviously, you guys have seen many of our streams where we've done Call of Duty between Xbox and PlayStation. So, could they like monopolize and put Call of Duty exclusively on Xbox? They could if they wanted to, but I think that would be a very, very big mistake. Yeah,
I don't think they'll do it.
It's a lot like MLB The Show. It was exclusively for PlayStation.
That's right.
And they realized that people were clamoring for it. And PlayStation's like, yeah, we're going to release it. We're just going to release it on all games. I don't know if it's released on all game systems, but it's released on Xbox and
I don't think it's on Nintendo.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
It probably would look like shit if it was on Nintendo anyway.
It probably would.
It really would. It is... MLB The Show 21 is on Xbox, so it's got to be on both.
It is. It is on.
Yeah.
Yes, this year specifically for baseball was the first year that they had it on Xbox.
Yeah. So I mean, this is pretty massive, mainly because I don't want to keep saying this BS about the console wars of which is better, PlayStation or Xbox, but it is interesting that one thing I have Xbox. I think most everybody else here has PlayStation. So it is interesting that when someone's like, oh, which system are you going to get? Blah, blah, blah. And not only like the brand loyalty, but also like what each one offers. And obviously I'm a little biased here because I have Xbox. I will say that I think one of the biggest advantages Xbox has is that Game Pass, where you can have like a slew of library of games. And I've checked out the PlayStation Now library and it's not bad, but I think the Xbox Game Pass one is really, so I think this just strengthens Xbox users even more.
Not only just the Game Pass, because Game Pass is fucking amazing. Because my kid has an Xbox and a PlayStation, and I'll take PlayStation's exclusive games any day over Xbox, but I'll take Game Pass for Xbox over fucking whatever the fuck it's called for PlayStation. I can't remember.
Now, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole problem with PlayStation Now is it's basically giving you the same service as PlayStation Plus, but with the shitty games.
Yeah,
Exactly. You know, and
full of titles.
yeah.
you know what? I think that this is a good move right now too, because just to touch on it, this was another topic that we had in the Discord, but just to touch on it real quick, Biden is actually pushing for a chip factory in Ohio. So they're going to be making the chips that are missing for the Xboxes and the PlayStations, which is why they are not able.
They're also used in like cars and shit too.
Right, but like that's why they're not able to sell PlayStations or Xboxes right now, because those chips are coming from overseas. But with the Activision and Blizzard announcement, that might boost, as soon as they do get those Xboxes pushed out with the chips, that might be boosting their income even more. If it, you know, like more people might be inclined to buy Xbox over PlayStation, if that makes sense.
The one
does.
thing
I think
Microsoft
oh, go ahead.
The one thing Microsoft will get that will work in their favor is Microsoft has console, but they also have monopoly on PC gaming. Most people will buy a PC computer running Microsoft because a Mac is not built for gaming. Let's just be real. And with them already having their hands in that, having now their console players to be able to take part in a lot of what Blizzard brings as their online library. You just have to kind of allow, like, because you'd be able to play World of Warcraft with a fucking controller. It's just all about mapping the buttons right.
Shit, I didn't even think of that. That's actually a very good point. That like you can really, you're bringing stuff like.
I think that's why they put Diablo on console, so that they could do the test drive.
Yeah.
Name that's already been proven for them, so that they can move World of Warcraft to console and take it off the PC.
And I mean, no matter what people say, I've tried like those MMO games with a controller, and you can make it happen, because all you have 4 buttons, right, on the regular controller, the like Y, X, B, whatever. And if you hold down the right trigger, they can do another set of skills. Hold down the left trigger, they can do another set of skills. So you can fit it all there. It's all about mapping the actual controller correctly. But I think it's a good acquisition for them. Xbox did need something that would give them a bit more exclusive titles. Diablo could very well be a Microsoft exclusive. Call of Duty will not. But they might have exclusive DLC.
Right.
The one thing is interesting is that I originally just real quick, I started off gaming with like the original PlayStation when it first came out in the 90s, and I've switched back and forth. And I thought that, you know, at the time, at the early stages, that PlayStation had the better library. I
still think PlayStation does have a better library. They just don't make it accessible.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so they're talking about putting the PS Now together with the PS Plus, which is fine.
They need to revamp that whole fucking thing.
That's what I was just going to say. In order to compete with Game Pass, especially if they add in the Activision and the Blizzard games with that, they are going to have to up their game big time. Because I have PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Plus is a load of fucking shit. The games that they offer, like when I first started with the PS Plus, their games were actually decent. Like they were games that were relatively popular, you know, within the past year or whatever. They're shit now. They are absolute fucking trash games that you could go to fucking GameStop and you could pick up for fucking $5.
Well, you're getting it for free.
What PS Plus should do? I mean, sorry. Like, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I'm sorry. I was just going to point out something you guys said the other night when we were talking. So you have the PS Plus. Mm-hmm. The games are kind of trash right now, so they need to revamp that. And then if they add in PS Now, they need to revamp PS Now, because I have PS Now, and like Heather just said before, their games are shit on there. And half of them are not, you can't download. You have no choice but to play online. So for somebody like myself who doesn't have a computer to stream through, I can't stream these games. Can't stream any of the online games, and all of the good games are fucking online games.
They need to pump their brakes on game streaming, because it's just not ready. The problem is internet connectivity is not ready. They might have the infrastructure there, but like for like Microsoft and for PlayStation to do streaming.
Yeah,
but
we talked about this last week, and I wholeheartedly agree with
Yeah.
Basement. It's not that the games are trash. It's that the games are not. The system itself is not ready. Well, the internet.
The internet's not
is
ready.
not
Yeah.
No, JP. I think you misinterpreted what I was trying to say. Like, I'm not saying the games are trash because they're only online. I'm saying
They're trash
like
still.
the majority of the games that are in PS Now are fucking trash. Like,
I don't know what you mean by.
They're not great. They're old.
they're not good games. Like, they're all like third world games.
Well, some of them are okay, but they're hits from 8 years ago.
So
Right.
here's what I see. And I see this on Twitter and social media all the time. Everybody wants these nostalgia. They want to play the older games because they were fun. The games today, like WWE wrestling games, they were better back in 1999 than they are now. That's
features,
what people are saying.
but the visuals were not.
And Sony and all of them are immune. Are what is they're tone deaf. Oh, you want older games? Well, here's an older game that you can have for $2.99. That's what they're doing.
And I get that, I do. But when you're competing with something like Game Pass on Xbox, because Game Pass on Xbox, they have both the nostalgic games and they have newer games on there.
The big thing is the newer games.
Like,
That's huge.
ridiculous compared to fucking.
And it's not limiting it to the indie titles.
Like Back for Blood
The problem with that
was
is
free
the
on
problem
Game
with-
Pass upon its actual release date. That's what you need to see more of, instead of, oh, this game's been out for 2 years, now you can get it free. Well, chances are, if people wanted to play it, they already fucking played it, man. So you're not
And I
really
know
getting
with the
anything
Xbox,
in that respect.
I know with the Xbox too, a lot of times, if you have Game Pass and there's a new game coming out, not a lot of times, but sometimes they will offer you a discount on said new game because you have Game Pass.
Well, of
Yeah,
course
that's
they
true.
do.
But PlayStation doesn't do that.
I think
Yes, they do.
another part
For having
of
PS
it
Plus,
is
they have hot deals, but I don't know if that's PS Plus is just to play online. It's not. It's the PS Now doesn't give you a discount on games. It just gives you a certain library.
Like my games that I play, I got a discount because I purchased it online.
You purchased the
Yeah,
digital version.
through PS
okay.
through PS Plus. It's true they will have deals, but I wonder if those deals also transfer to like a GameStop or not.
They
I
do
don't think
not. The Bobbit,
so the,
can you speak on that? Or you died again? Oh my god.
Bobby, you sound very far away.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about? I bought MLB The Show 21 when it first came out on PS5, and I got a discount because I
Right.
bought it digitally
Yeah.
right.
versus buying it.
But they'll also have
The
physical
disc.
discounts for different games at a GameStop, for instance.
Do they do that
Yeah.
with GameStop too?
Walmart,
Yes, they do.
Walmart, when you buy a game up there, it's $10 cheaper.
Dude, why do you sound like you
Why do
were...
you, I know, why you
Walmart-
sound so far
Walmart-
away?
Walmart does that though.
It's not just
always-
Walmart. GameStop will have there'll be deals for specific games in store that are not
Yeah.
on sale on digital. But digital usually
I
has like
don't-
hot deals for the summer or whatever, like that kind of
I
thing.
know. I guess I don't go to GameStop regularly anymore because they closed the one down by me, but I don't know if
go
they
there
do
either.
it. I don't know if they do it quite as often as they used to do because so many of them closed down. I
We-
know, like the fucking when we go to the mall or whatever, there's a GameStop in there, and they constantly have advertisements in their windows about new games coming up and like certain percentage off and all this stuff.
Let me
Well-
let me bring something up about this whole Activision deal.
I would love for you to bring something up, but I
Sorry.
can't fucking hear anything you're saying.
Yeah, you are so
You were
quiet,
really
man.
quiet, man.
You gotta fix your mic or something, man.
It's literally on my mouth right now.
I can't
Is it
hear
plugged
him.
in? Is it plugged into your computer or whatever properly, or are you coming through your computer mic? Maybe.
No, like I'm going through my phone and my
That's why.
Oh, because he was going through his phone last night too, and he didn't sound like this.
I don't know. Maybe like I don't know.
Just go ahead and say what you got to say.
Yeah, we'll do our best. I can turn him up in Discord. Maybe that'll help a little bit.
Well, but I don't think this deal is going to go through. And the reason why I say that is because the government has to approve of it, and Sony and Nintendo could any time say, "Hey, this is going to cause a monopoly in the gaming industry. We don't like that," and they can cancel the deal straight out because it kind of would cause a monopoly.
This
because
is true.
Yeah.
If this goes through, you've only got Square Enix, Ubisoft, EA, and Sega left, and you're pretty much fucked at that point.
It's true.
It all depends on how, like, what the ruling is around how they use the things that they're purchasing. Because if they purchase Activision yet maintain most of the library of games as being cross-platform,
all that means, Basement, is that it won't be able to be sold in the United States. If they do go through with the deal, they won't be able to sell. And if they are in the United States, it's up to the United States government because they have. The government doesn't like monopolies, even though they're trying to become a monopoly themselves. But that's neither here nor there. But what I'm saying is they can't. Monopolies are frowned upon.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
They do exist everywhere. It's the oligopoly or whatever it's called. That's the fucking what we have here with the telecommunication companies.
Right.
We're right in the same boat. But no, I mean, Bobbitt does bring up a point about the possibility of being a monopoly. I mean, I don't think it would create a monopoly per se. I think Bobbitt's right that maybe Nintendo or Sony could step in. Microsoft did announce that the intentions are going to be taking place. I think they said like the transition is going to start in July of this year. So there is chance that they could step in. But I mean, I think that if it was to be a true monopoly, you'd have to get like more companies involved. I mean, this is what I mean. Don't get me wrong. There's a shit ton of franchises in this, and that's what's going to bring up the other point. Is we talk about like the games in the past, but if you look at, for better or for worse, the future of these franchises, Call of Duty, despite as much as we roll our eyes and say like how bad it's gotten, still has the most one of the most diehard loyal fan base as far as gamers I've seen for almost any other franchise in a long time. Okay, so
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say real fast to wrap it up. Point being is that even if people are like, oh, I can't wait to play the old versions of these games, if they expand upon them for better or for worse, it could go in either direction. I think that's where you're going to see a lot of stuff like you guys were saying, like, you can get it on Xbox or PlayStation, but if you get an Xbox and you get the Game Pass, you can play it like included in Game Pass for like the first 30 days or some BS like that, where they can really like lean it more in their favor.
So Tim says monopoly laws won't apply. There is a loophole where it applies to this, as Activision and Blizzard are left as their own studios. Then the monopoly. Okay, so he's right. But then there's that's fine. But what the problem is that Microsoft would have to say, okay, well we're going to have to give PlayStation a cut. They're going to have to buy out the deal with PlayStation, because they can't just say, oh, well, we're cutting you off, because PlayStation or Sony will sue, and Sony is doing pretty good on their own as far as with this PS5, probably the best system I've ever fucking had.
Austin says the same thing.
Best system I ever had. Better than the fucking Xbox. Better than the Nintendo, and I've never had a problem with it. Yeah, my game will crash every once in a while, but that's because they do updates all the time, and it's not that big of a deal. It's not like it happens every other fucking day. So it would behoove Microsoft to not exclude PlayStation.
I really don't like the idea of the owner, like a PlayStation, for instance, or Sony, the parent company, Sony or Microsoft being able to own a studio in its entirety. Like it should be the studio that then maybe works out a deal for the specific for a specific franchise of games that they're going to work on for Microsoft exclusively.
Yeah.
But they still have the ability to work for other people or choose which games they make cross-platform or not.
Yeah,
Disney bought all of these companies though because they were going to sell anyway. George Lucas was going to do this anyway. It's not like Disney bought them. He was selling to Disney because he wanted to retire and do his thing.
Well, he sold with all the
He's a
billionaire.
He's a billionaire.
Any toy that sells, I get a huge cut of. So he knew what he was doing when he made those fucking Ewoks.
What's up, TSS2?
The point I'm trying to make is I don't think they're going to exclude anybody. I think if they're going to do this, there's going to be a deal made where
just PlayStation, pay us money and you can have this game.
Yes.
or bring up another point.
Listen.
What was that, Bobbit?
I'm gonna bring up another point. Bethesda is owned by Microsoft, but yet Deathloop and Sifu, which is coming out later this year, are PlayStation exclusives. So.
Well, they probably have pre-existing. They probably
the end of Diablo for PlayStation.
And Diablo's available on Nintendo too, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say that there's probably
that PC exclusive because of the fact that it's already on the Switch.
Right. So there's probably pre-existing, there's going to be obviously games that exist prior to this deal. And I'm sure there's probably nitty-gritty details as far as certain titles and properties and game releases that already have contracts behind them in terms of being like cross-platform. But I'm just saying, and so you probably won't see the like immediate impact as far as this goes for some of these games, maybe even this year. I'd say next year, though, is where you're going to start to see like, oh, okay, let's see how like the pendulum's going to swing in that way. But sorry, Gina, go ahead.
Here's the thing. I know how business works, right? And I know that and I know how I know that Xbox and PlayStation and all these different companies are trying to make money on their own products. I get it. But my only wish is that they would make more fucking cross-platform games for everybody.
I'm trying to say, I think that's part of the reason why they're doing this deal, so that they can make more cross-platform games. I think
I hope so.
I mean, that should be the future of gaming.
Yes.
Agreed.
No matter what you buy, you should be able to play with your friends. As long as it's a multiplayer game or whatever. Single-player exclusives, I can get behind, personally.
I mean, listen, playing with yourself can only go so far.
Well, I do it a lot.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, they're never gonna fully switch over to that, though, because they're gonna want. Okay, so like you want to play with your friends, right? Okay. We all want to play together. What happened? What happened because we all want to play together? Basement, you sent Connor your PlayStation so he could play with us, right? Yay!
But that's the thing is that's all like we're looking at older games. A lot like
but
you can see the trend coming for cross-platform though, because a lot of games
change completely.
It'll never change completely. I don't think.
Honestly, in my opinion, with this pandemic and everybody locked in their house, that should have been what was their focus.
And it wasn't.
Agreed.
You know why it will never change completely? Because a company called Nintendo exists.
No,
and they will never share their properties with anybody.
No fucking kidding.
Yeah, you want to play with your friends? Everybody get Nintendo.
And that's my whole point. Like in the end, not just Nintendo, but every single company is going to want to be like, okay, we're going to make a product that's so fucking good that all of the friends are playing together, and the one friend that doesn't have the system is going to want to buy that system so that they can play with their friends.
But you know what? The systems are fucking. If we're talking about new systems, they're so expensive that that's just not likely to happen. I would never buy a $600 system just to play one game with somebody else. It's just it doesn't make sense.
No, it's not feasible.
Yeah, financially, it doesn't make unless you're super rich.
Especially in today's economy.
Yeah,
I mean, half people can't fucking afford groceries, and they expect them to pay $700 for a fucking system.
So I could get a new Xbox, or I could pay rent.
But hold up. That $500 for an Xbox, $500 for a PS5, and then another $500 for a Switch, just so you can play with all of your friends on different platform games.
And it doesn't stop there.
Nobody has that kind of fucking money. Nobody has that money.
You
And then
know
you're
what?
paying $70-$80 for a new fucking
But
game.
here's the
whenever it
here's the
comes
thing
out,
that
too.
pisses me off, and I think this is why the PS Plus you see digital deals a bit more often than you'll see physical deals. Why the fuck is a game on digital the same price as a physical game? There's no cost
Thank
for
you.
manufacturing,
Yes.
man. What is
Yep.
this fucking bullshit?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
And they just went up in cost. How did they? There's no justification. I used to buy a lot of games, and even like a $10 increase for me, I was like, not worth it.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, Austin got the Oculus, right? The Oculus, while it was expensive, like he got it from my mom for his birthday, but it was expensive. Well, right. Actually, it was cheaper than the fucking PS5 that he got. But anyways, the games, most of the games are only like $30-$40 on the Oculus versus $60, $70, $80.
I think it's because they're not. A lot of them aren't true games. When I say that, they're like more like extended demos.
VR mode and nothing else.
They're not like long games, and they're very like.
No,
A lot of them
that's
are.
not true. That's not true at all, because Austin just got the Walking Dead game, and it's the exact same game that he has on the PlayStation, or on the Xbox, excuse me. The only difference is that it's walkthrough, like you.
But, okay, so it's because like the game already existed on a regular console, but the game is made specifically for the Oculus, specifically for VR. Or I've never seen a game that's like a full length game.
I guess I can't say anything about that, but other way around, the Oculus.
I want the
is fun.
Cocculus.
It's fun as shit, man.
You have the price increase for the PlayStation, Xbox games, but you also have the $50 to $60 30-year-old video games.
Oh
on
yeah,
Nintendo.
the great N60. I want to buy the N64 bundle for $79.99.
I have never seen, since the Switch was released, a discounted Nintendo exclusive, like like their IP game.
I did
I've never
see
seen
one.
And that is exactly why
It happened
I
once.
refuse to buy the kids a fucking Switch. I refuse to buy the kids a Switch, because between the controllers going out left and fucking right from everybody that I've fucking talked to,
I
and
just
then
have bad
the price
luck.
of the game, the price of the games are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
For the original Super Mario game, like the 1, 2, and 3. When the Wii came out, I paid $60 for that set, right? And I understand that was a while ago, but they want over $120 for all three of those for the fucking Switch.
Yeah, no, F that. I did throw it in the chat real quick.
Or at least that's what it was last time I looked it up.
I did throw it out in the chat, and a lot of people thought, I threw out there, is Microsoft buying Activision a good idea? And surprisingly, a lot of people did say, well, I shouldn't say surprisingly, but
It's
a lot of people
good
did say
idea.
yes.
It's just
It's
it might be fucked
it's
up.
happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Bobbit was asking for your attention. I think I can hear him better.
Oh, yeah, Bobbit.
Nope.
This Black Friday, I've seen Mario Odyssey for $30.
Yeah,
Okay,
this was the first time that they discounted games on the Switch. One time in its entire
It came
run.
out in what, 2000?
You're trying to justify a system that, and you can't. $30, I could probably go out. I remember Nintendo games when they became like 10 years old, like the original Nintendo games, they were $4.99.
Jesus.
They used to do that. They used to discount because that's what they did.
Now they don't,
And
because
now
they don't need to.
don't.
Because people will buy them.
TSS is calling BS. He said, buy physically for the Switch. You will get a discount for their first party game. Bobbit knows as well. Okay, so like maybe that's why. Because when I was looking it up, I was looking at the online price. I don't know if that.
You gotta lick the cartridge. Tastes like fucking shit.
Oh god.
Listen, here's the thing. The only thing that I would be willing to play on the Switch would be the Mario games, because that's the whole reason I would buy the fucking Switch.
They are
Smash.
pretty much the best.
He's saying
But-
buy the games, buy the cartridge for the game, right? That's
Yeah.
what he's saying. Buy physically.
And it also, they want you to, because there's no memory on the fucking thing.
All of those games, and I've seen the Switch. Like all the games that I remember playing on the Super Nintendo, I can get on the Switch.
Well, yeah, it's all streamed,
they're
right?
just-
It's all streamed, and
Yeah.
it's because they're so low res. It doesn't take any data to really stream them.
Well, okay,
Exactly.
here's the fact of the matter for me personally. Anyway, okay, like I said, the only games I would want to play on the Switch would be the Mario games.
You already said that.
I have, again, why I said, like I said, but I have 2 of the original Nintendos, NESs, and I have a Super Nintendo as well that all work. So why the fuck would I go out and spend $300-400 on a gaming system when I can just turn these old little son of a bitches on and play them to my heart's content?
I will
True that.
say the
Well-
Switch should not be priced at the level it is. It doesn't have the hardware to be priced at
Yeah.
that level.
Right.
I agree with you on that.
So I remember when the Nintendo, the original Nintendo
Yeah, man.
came
You get it
out.
with Duck Hunt and the gun.
$59.99
Mm-hmm.
for the console itself.
But this was like the
The game, the
Wow.
game cost the same amount as the fucking console did.
Yeah, my dad.
Wow.
We bought it. We bought.
there were a lot of
the-
shitty games for the original Nintendo too.
We
Like
bought the
yourselves.
original Nintendo like quite a few years after it originally released. My dad just got it. I don't know. He got it from like one of his coworkers or something, just for something for us to do. Because my dad was laid off in the wintertime. So it was just for something for us to do, on the weekends or if we had a snowstorm or whatever. What we would do instead of buying the games for the longest time until the game price started coming down, we just went and rented the games.
You can't do that anymore.
You can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
Well,
you gotta
exactly.
pay
But that's
full
what
price.
we
But then,
did.
but then you only get it. So if you go out and buy a game like Call of Duty,
But you-
you can only rent it for so long, and then you got to turn it in a couple of days later. That's why renting games was absolutely a dumb
Hey,
fucking
I
idea.
actually think they should still offer rentals of digital games
Ew.
because I don't know half the time I don't know what the fuck if the game I'm gonna like the game or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
They kind of do because there's that website GameFly where you can rent video games through GameFly.
It's still
I
around.
don't know what the
It
fuck you're
is.
talking about.
Oh,
At the very least, these games should be offering demos.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah, I missed the demo days.
Guys, guys.
You got
Say
what?
You're unfairly comparing prices here.
No
Back
shit,
when
Bob.
ES
And I'm
came
just
out-
no. Stop. I understand that, but I'm just saying. Back when when we got the Nintendo as kids, okay,
Mhm.
it was only $59.99. If I
It was a
remember,
lot of money back then.
And
that's a lot of money back then, and you're paying the same amount or close to it for a goddamn cartridge.
Yeah.
and Gina, if you go back and look at the original sale ads from the SNES days, games were $80-90 back then.
Oh yeah, I know, and that's what JP just said. But that's why I said that instead of like when we first got ours, because we got ours a couple years after the system itself came out.
So why would I want to buy?
But instead of buying the games physically, we had the option back then where we would just go to the movie store and we would just rent the games.
Do you know why people are buying digital more than ever now? It's because they don't want all the clutter shit around their fucking house.
And not only that,
Yeah.
but a lot of people just don't want to. It's inconvenient for a lot of people to leave their home. I mean, whether you have children or the weather's bad.
Digital doesn't work
You
too
just
well
don't
with the
like to leave your
Switch.
fucking house,
You've got such a limited amount of space on the Switch. I fucking bought a digital game that was bigger than the fucking hard drive on the Switch. Like, so how am I
I
gonna play
can't-
this?
But-
I mean, you can
I
get
can't-
external
I
I
memory.
can't
but
go
fuck.
digital.
Here you go.
Like somebody like me, I can't go digital because of my internet. I have to go physical.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. That's a good point too.
Let's
But
get physical. We gotta move on.
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No
sorry,
shit.
real quick. Tim did say that Redbox also apparently rents video games.
I got a red box.
Oh, I forgot about
You know how
that too.
they do
I
it, and
gotta
I'm
have that
sure
checked by the doctor.
with
Mhm.
Redbox, you can rent the game, but if you never turn it in after, they just charge you
The full price.
The full price.
The full price. Yeah, exactly.
So don't read
Yeah.
too much into renting from fucking Redbox.
Right. Shout out to Randy Viper also joining us in the chat. What's going on, Randy? But yeah, we got more stuff to talk about. So, but of course, let us know your thoughts in the chat, and of course on social media of your thoughts about all the fun gaming stuff we got going on. So, this one is the next topic I wanted to talk about or bring up was this one that we kind of talked about, or it was suggested a little late on. This one revolving. And I just heard about this myself because this guy posted literally a couple of days ago about the Theodore Roosevelt statue being removed from the New York City Museum after apparently sparking some controversy. So
I need a beer for this one.
Okay, good. This give me a chance to recap it. So, a statue of U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt that sat in front of the New York Museum for nearly 80 years were removed this week after criticism over its racial image. The sculpture, which is located right outside the American Museum of Natural History, at the Museum of History, featured the 26th president on a horseback with a Native American man and an African man on either side of him. Apparently, a spokesperson told CNN, this is where the article coming from, saying the process of removing the statue was conducted with historical preservation specialists and approved by multiple New York City agencies. So apparently this was requested to remove back in June, after June of 2020, with the beginning of...
it was after the George Floyd.
Yeah, right. It was that was what was originally requested. So this is kind of interesting because this is something that we've seen. I feel like this is not the. Well, I was about to say this is not the first time this has happened where there's been removal of like historical statues or monuments throughout the country.
I actually sent a link in the Discord that has a list of all of the monuments and statues that have been removed in the United States since 2020, and most of them were Confederate statues. But you're racing, like, listen, I understand. Some of them were good. Some of them were good to remove. There was one in, I believe, oh God, I forget where it was. It was up in Maryland or somewhere up in that area, but it was a hanging post. So obviously that's a good one to remove. You know, you don't need a fucking hanging post anymore. But the ones with the Confederate soldiers and all of that, like whether we like it or not, that is part of history in our country. That is the way I it.
So that's what I was going to throw out to everybody here and also who's listening to us after. Like, I get that times have changed. I understand that, you know, looking back, there were some not so great things that happened in history. There's a lot of not so great things that happened in history. Hell, there's some not so great things that are happening today. But is this like, is this worth it? Is this necessary? Is it like, I'm trying to find out like, what?
Here's what I want to know.
There's a couple things. But Heather, you go
Here's
first.
what I want to know. What are they now going to do with his role in Night at the Museum?
The fucking president.
Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the reason why Theodore Roosevelt statue was removed. It was solely because on one side of him there was an Indian or a Native American, excuse me, and on the other side there was an African American. That is solely the reason why they wanted him removed. Now his statue is going to North Dakota. In order to get refurbished or whatever and go into the presidential library there.
If that's fine, that can go there. But you just said they removed it because he was standing next to an Indian and an African American?
Yeah, because they were like holding his legs on the horse or some shit like that.
People will find a problem in anything, man.
Yeah.
Just like...
But, I mean... Okay.
Here's my thing. And we just said it. Are we just going to forget about history? Or are we actually going to fucking live?
And learn from it?
But why does history only go back so far?
And I understand that, but we're never going to fucking learn from our past.
Who's making that decision? To be like, oh, this is the only how far we're going to go back and look at the atrocities of mankind. I'm not saying this is an atrocity, but like for some reason people are like, oh, history is only 100 years ago. Or whatever, or 150 years ago, or whatever. Fucking terrible things happened way before that.
I did see someone say a really funny comment when regarding this issue with this. And real quick shout out to Casey is Raw and also the real Cody joining us in the chat. It said this is the equivalent of America trying to clear its browser history.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
You need my hard drive, bro.
Okay, a couple years ago, up in St. Paul, Minnesota, at the Capitol. there was a group of Native American protesters up there, and they were protesting the fact that there was a Christopher Columbus statue outside of the Capitol. Okay, cool. But they proceeded to begin to remove the statue themselves. I'm sorry, but when that happens, whether I agree with you or not, and in this case, I kind of do, because Christopher Columbus, fucking bad man, right? But, like...
I don't know. Like, I mean, somebody was gonna do this shit regardless.
Okay, so
whether they're black, white, Asian, doesn't matter.
Despite the fact that I agreed with them for being angry that the statue was there, I do not agree with their actions. If they are removing a state or federal piece of property, that is a fucking felony, and they should be in jail. No matter their intentions. That's just my opinion about it.
Well, there's a process. There's a process to go around getting something removed if you want to. Yeah, it's the slow way to do stuff, but that's because your opinion is not the only opinion that matters. The person that did that shit or the people that did that shit, right? Like, you have to bring it up to a populace to have a vote on it.
Was Christopher Columbus a bad human being?
Yes.
Yes. Is Joe Biden a bad human being? Yes. Is Donald Trump a bad human being? Yes.
They're all fucking shit.
I'm gonna sit here and dwell on who is a bad human being. Jesus fucking Christ. I got everything. Just rip every fucking book up we've ever fucking had on history and just
But it's not just
about it.
The thing is, it's not just are they a bad human being? It's did they do bad things? Yeah, everybody does fucking bad things. Everybody's in some sort of gray mud.
Who you are. You have done something in your life that affects others. I've done it.
Yeah.
Okay? That makes me a bad fucking person.
If that's all they're going to look at, yeah.
Here's the problem. I believe, because I believe in God, and I just going off kind of this is what I think. I believe in God. I don't give a fuck if anybody else does or not, but I do. Here's the thing. He is the judge, the jury, and the executioner. Okay? Believe it or not. That's what I believe. I don't give a fuck what some fucking purple, brown, blue, orange-haired hippie has to fucking say to me. Hey, you're a racist because you don't think that African Americans should be fucking given retribution. You know what? I wasn't fucking there. I don't have a problem with anybody. But when you start telling me that I owe you something, eat my fucking ass and then I'll think about it. That's how I feel.
I'll think about it.
The whole issue with this, let's just calm it down a little second.
That's hilarious.
Well, no.
and I'll think about it.
Columbus was a bad person. I get it.
Everybody is. Yeah, everybody does.
So was fucking FDR.
Well, and okay, here's the thing. We live in a society today that believes that they don't want to see the truth. They don't want to learn from the truth. They just want to forget about the truth. And the fact of the matter is, you cannot forget about the truth. You can't forget history. You can't just move on and say, oh, we're just going to be better, because guess what? A couple of generations from now, they're going to make the same mistakes, because they're not going to have those historical monuments, those historical moments in history books, in textbooks, or on fucking computers. They're not going to have any of that in order to learn from. They're going to get a misinformed slate of history, and they're just going to end up repeating it. It's going to be
history is going to repeat regardless if we have monuments or not. It always tends to.
History is repeating right now. The 1960s are repeating 50s and 60s.
What you have is
repeating right now. We have race wars going on. We have gender wars going on. We have everything.
But we have like fabricated. These are fabricated race wars and gender wars. If you actually step back and look at shit, everything that's happening is like being like I fucking hate conspiracy theories and shit like that, but I can say that there's fucking stoke that fire constantly, making people hate each other.
When I say that it's happening again now, it's not necessarily happening. It's just the news is trying to, and the media is trying to make us think that it's happening.
That so combined,
they are trying to repeat history. They are trying to make everybody think that we are still stuck in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, and we're not.
Well, you got a bunch of fucking young kids who are convinced they're going to change everything in the world. The righteous fucking new age. That's we're gonna fix climate change. We're gonna fix racism. We're gonna fix everything. But they haven't fought for anything. They don't understand anything. The only thing they understand is what they're being told by the media is, yes, the youth is right. Listen to Greta Thunberg. Listen to all these kids that come out that say you should respect someone for if they want to be called them. Like them is a term for more than one person.
I mean,
that's fine. That's fine.
No, but it's
that's the problem that
but
I have.
It's the fact that them already confuses me because I'm thinking I'm talking to a group of people. And second of all, I won't know that immediately from looking at someone. Yet they will fly off the handle.
Right.
It's
So
like
here-
so ready to be offended by everything.
So here's the thing, and this goes with climate change. It goes with everybody wanting to remove fucking statues. People want to change. Like, they want to change everything right.
Statue
fucking now.
does nothing.
I know this, but my point is, let's change what we can now. Let's start small. Because you can sit here, well, we need to change the way the climate is. You're not going to.
Rome wasn't built overnight, man.
No, but that's my point. You can't just say, well, we need to remove all these statues and everything will go away. Really? Will it?
That's exactly what I was trying to say. No, you're okay. But that's exactly what I was trying to say earlier when I, basically this new, not just the new age, there's a lot of people that are our age that are like, oh, this needs to change, blah, blah, blah. But you can't just put a curtain over the front of it and pretend like it's not still behind the curtain.
You can't put a Band-Aid. You can't put a Band-Aid. You can't put a Band-Aid on a fucking amputation and expect it to fix itself.
I look at these people.
You can remove the sliver from the skin and throw it in the garbage. But regardless of which, the wound is still gonna fucking be there. You can't hide it.
Well, I look at these people that think they're making a big change by removing statues, and it's like, oh, we're gonna fix everything that's been done wrong in the world. But then I look at people that actually have a brain, and you look at this, it's being removed, it's costing the city and the museum $2 million. You got people living on the fucking streets, and you'll spend money on this bullshit?
Yep.
Fix the things that need to be fixed. And a statue, put a fucking tarp over it. You don't want to see it. I don't give a shit. Don't go there. Whatever. Who cares?
I don't know if we're talking about it or not, but the thing that Gina put in with the fucking Animal Crossing shit.
Oh, that was on Facebook.
So you know what I'm talking about. And I was talking to Heather about this yesterday. What good is that going to do? Because the animal is going to go where it wants, when it wants, how it wants. It's a waste of government spending to make shit look pretty. But really, what does it... When people... And I said this, so who are they asking if this is going to work? Are they asking the animals what they think?
Just for clarification,
it's just an allocation of terrible money, terrible use of money.
It's just
terrible spending, so that everybody knows exactly what JP is talking about. In my state, they are redoing the highway or the freeway, and in order to try to cut down on animal deaths, because this highway is very, very well known for deer crossing and everything else.
Wisconsin. That's all I'm saying.
They were talking about building a bridge, and it was basically an Animal Crossing bridge, like JP said. And from my understanding, what it looked like in the picture anyway, because I only seen the picture when I shared it, I did not see the article with it, but from the picture, it was like a very natural bridge, and it had fencing along the highway, so it would kind of steer the animals, towards the bridge in order to be able to cross. It had grass and bushes and everything. It looked just like the forest. What they actually did was they built a concrete cylinder under the freeway, and they expect these animals to go through there with no fencing or anything, mind you, to guide them in
Did
that
they at
direction.
least write it in fucking deer?
So essentially what they did is this looks so pretty. Let's make this a tourist. It's a money grab.
But JP, that's not even the bridge that they built. They're not building that bridge. They built a concrete it's basically a tunnel that goes underneath the highway.
Yeah, animals want to go through that.
They had all that leftover piping
I'm just
from
gonna
that
cross the street.
pipeline that was supposed to run somewhere, so they had to use it.
Yeah, it's just it's
So,
really dumb.
I don't
But
know.
I'm saying, all I'm getting at is it's wasteful government spending just to
Everywhere
make
to appease
Yes.
a small
Well,
vocal
yes.
group of assholes.
Yes.
So here's the
I
thing.
say
With-
save a
with
car,
the
shoot a
bridge-
deer.
Here's the thing. With the bridge, I thought that, first of all, I didn't know where the highway was, what highway they were talking about. I thought it was somewhere up by like the major cities. And it's a well-known fact that if you have the more greenery you have in the cities, New York City actually started doing this very, very frequently. Heather, you might be able to do attest to this. They started planting gardens on rooftops, the side of buildings. There's vines and shit that come down the side of buildings because they're trying to eliminate the heat island effect.
Yeah,
So
it's
my
almost like
thought-
having a big block of concrete. It was a terrible idea.
So
Right?
my thought when I seen this bridge was, oh, this could be a good thing because if it's being built, say, like right outside of a major city, then not only, you know, if they have the highways fenced off, it could be good for the animals. And not only that, but it's not another huge concrete bridge. You know, it's something that can absorb the sunlight, it can absorb water, you know, all of that stuff. That was my idea. And then when I found out what it actually was, I was like, oh, more concrete.
Yeah, okay.
Great. Wait, a solution.
It's like I told you when I commented on that, I saw that same exact picture 10 years ago.
For Wyoming or something like that, right?
What's up, Jurgen?
Yeah.
I
just
will
said right.
say with this whole topic of the statues, yeah, there are statues of people that were shit. And
Yeah.
you can have a debate about removing them. There's ways to go about getting removed properly, but
You are correct.
also take into account what it costs to do that.
Nobody
Because,
takes that into
like-
account. And that's why people are doing what they're doing. Like last or 2 years ago, when the George Floyd bullshit happened, let's tear down this statue.
But these are the same people that went to be fucking activists every day of the week. They
Oh,
obviously
right,
don't
right.
have a job
The
or
point-
work.
the
I don't
point
know
is,
what they're doing.
What these people don't understand when they do that is they still have to pay for that. The government still has to pay to have that.
Everything costs
Remote.
money.
All I have to say is at least I understand like the money is fucking
This
ridiculous.
is a $2 million
But at
endeavor to
least-
move this fucking thing.
But at least they are not demolishing the statue completely. It is going to be moved to North Dakota, and it is going into the presidential library in North Dakota. So at least it's not destroying history, it's just moving it, but that moving it part is costing a lot of
But the thing is,
money.
it costs people that don't want it removed money as well.
Right.
This is gonna sound asinine because I've been drinking, and it's gonna make me sound like a bad person. What if there was a white guy? Hold on, let me finish. What if there was a white guy doing the same thing to that guy? Can I consider that racist? You see my point? How dumb is that?
I don't even look at this statue because even in the article there was a link to another article that's like, oh, it's just helping cancel culture, and they talked about Teddy Roosevelt and him actually having like invited people of race and different cultures to the White House to talk. You can say like, well, they colonized the U.S. and the system of power was the white man. Yes. Anybody that colonizes anybody else is going to be fucking the system of power,
here's the
regardless of what color they are.
Right.
Here's the thing. A couple of years back, what was it? The Ulysses
S. Grant?
Grant statue that was defaced and everything.
Robert E. Lee. It was Robert E. Lee. God damn it.
Right,
Sorry, guys.
but there was another statue that was defaced, and it was actually of black person in history. It wasn't Ulysses S. Grant, because obviously that was a white guy.
E. Lee.
No, Robert E. Lee was a white guy too. Anyways, it was a black guy in history, and it's right on the fucking tip of my tongue, and I cannot think of
Eddie
the
Murphy.
name.
George-
No, it was no. What the hell was his name? E.B. something.
EB.
W.E.B. something, I think.
EB something.
Anyways, this was a statue of a black man that was very, very
I got you.
prominent throughout history. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But they defaced that statue simply because he worked with white people along the way. That's where my issue comes in with.
Well, that's
these
just
type
that's
of things,
racist. Then.
but that's what I'm saying. Like the problem is racism goes all different directions. It's not just white versus black.
Try to tell that to everybody else.
But it goes all different directions, and
It does.
until we start seeing that, we're never going to truly get over racism.
Nobody wants
because-
that. I want Heather wants to say something, but nobody wants to have that conversation. Everybody says, "Well, we need to have that conversation," but nobody wants to have it. Ever.
That's not what they mean when they say that. They mean you
Until
have
the
to
day
feel bad.
comes-
I know what they
It
need.
means people who don't agree with us are going to sit the fuck down and we're going to yell in their face until they
Yeah.
finally agree with us.
That's
Which
basically
is
it.
fucking wrong. But
Yeah.
I want all of these people that have issues with these statues being up to just do a simple Google search of Germany and see the fact that they still have statues of Hitler up.
And why is that? Why
So
is
that
that?
they
It's
can
not
learn from
because they
history.
praise him. It's not because they praise him. It's because they understand that was their history.
They still have the
It's
Holocaust.
a grim reminder of
Exactly.
how bad things can get.
It's a grim reminder of what had happened and what happened during that time.
And what
There's-
they never want to be again.
Right.
Sometimes people just have to. It's like when your dad whoops your ass because you stepped out of line,
I make a
and you
statue.
stand there and look at him, and you like, why did you just hit me? Well, you were being a dumbass.
Well, the bottom line is until people can look at people for people and not what color their skin is, we're always going to have a problem.
Well,
It's
the
very
problem is
unfortunate,
we were actually
but-
going in the right direction until
We were.
the world
We-
decided to tell us we weren't.
You know what? And the thing is, suddenly the world started telling us that we weren't. The media started telling us that we weren't. And look at the fucking trouble that we have gotten into.
Yeah,
over-
everybody's become more racist.
I think Morgan
Everybody's more
Freeman.
racist. Everybody's against each other. Everybody is feeling attacked.
I have no problem with anybody of any skin color. I have a problem with people that think they're mentally superior or have this superiority complex. You want to talk about the real problem between classes? It has nothing to do with race. It has all to do with money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anywho. Morgan Freeman said it best, and I wholeheartedly agree with this. The only way that racism will go away is if we just stop fucking talking about it.
Talking about it, right?
And as he continued with that statement, don't call me a black man, I won't call you a white man.
Exactly. But anywho, we really need to move on past this topic. Connor?
I'm good. Go ahead, Connor.
Connor's like, I plead the fifth.
I've been watching him. I've been watching him, and he's just over there like, I ain't fucking saying a word. You guys got
No. I didn't want to add another dog to the pile and just like and cut out. I didn't want to cut off or interrupt anybody.
Tina.
It's not my fault.
She did it again.
It's not my fault that you guys don't hear my mic right away. Because half of the time I'm
I
talking,
hear it. I hear it all the time.
Ethan just did it to me. See, you guys do it right back. So fuck off. All of ya.
I have the power to mute you forever.
I have the
So-
power to
Go ahead.
Canada.
I have the
Sorry,
power of
I'm
Grayskull.
sorry, Connor.
Sorry.
No,
Go ahead.
it's all good.
Please
It's all
God,
good.
Connor.
She's gone. We kicked her off. So it's one of those things where it's like it's not going to erase what happened. It's not. You're not taking away what the person did. The only thing that I can sort of wrap my head around, and I'm just thinking out loud here, is like, oh, if you have this statue of this person, you're glorifying this. Well, here's the thing. Like to what you guys were saying earlier. if you look at any sort of publicly, I'm assuming like mostly presidents in this case, if you're looking at someone who has a statue of them, they're obviously, showcasing them for historical reasons or historical purposes. I dare you to find me the perfect president or perfect authority figure in that regard that did not have a single fucking blemish on their name, that they didn't do something.
I can name 2 presidents right now that everybody thinks they are fucking God.
But my point stands is that no one is perfect, and so it comes down to the whole idea
Kamala
of
Harris.
God, I hate you. I'm gonna fucking punch you in the neck. Shut up.
I'm just backing up your guys' point because I pretty much agree with everything you guys just said. It's you're missing the point, or you're missing like the bigger part of you're nitpicking on. I'm not saying I'm justifying, this person did this terrible thing, therefore we should glorify from that. Absolutely not. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But there's other ways of going around it. It reminds me of the whole Family Guy joke when fucking Brian and Stewie go to Germany and they're like, hey, we're on this tour of history of Germany, and there's just nothing between 1945 and 1952. It's like, no, we were on vacation. Like, what? That makes
they kind of were. They kind of were because they were either part of Russia or they were part of the United States. So they kind of had really nothing.
Wait, nothing happened? What are you talking about? No one was there. We all had dinner. We all had lunch. Punch was served. Like, what the fuck? Like that? Like, how stupid do you think? Like, you cannot erase history. The only thing you can do is learn from it. And there's been horrible atrocities that have happened across this entire fucking world, even also in this entire country. They're unavoidable. They happened. The best thing to do is to learn from them, not ignore them like they never fucking happened.
How about embrace it? Because the only way we can get any better is if we embrace our past.
Some people are terrible.
My dad, God rest his soul, said that to me. He said, let's embrace our past. Even though, and I'm going to tell you a really quick story, and then I want to move on. Mm-hmm. The last recording I did with him, the day that he came home, he was spit on.
There was a lot.
He was a Vietnam veteran.
Because that was the hippie rush.
Do you know why? Do you know why they were spitting on him? Because they thought he was the one that was okay with what he was doing. But what was he doing? At the time back then, we were trying to stop communism. That was the main focus of what our country was trying to do. We didn't want Russia to rule the world, which is what they were going for. Russia and China. Well, China's pretty much whatever. But we were trying to stop communism. And my dad said I was wrong for what I did. And you will hear it in the recording. I literally told him, you did nothing wrong. You were only doing what you were asked to do.
Cog in the machine.
That's a soldier in general. I mean,
it's not just
for that. I am thankful, because if he would have quit what he was doing, I would not be here today.
Right.
But it's not just soldiers. We've all worked shit jobs. I mean, I worked for fucking communication company. I can't speak. Telecommunication company.
Of all words.
I know. Fuck, I'm turning into Gina. And you do what you have to do. You sell products. You do what the company's telling you to do, or else you don't keep your job.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean I want to do it. And people have gotten fucking so raged out at me, and it's like, man, I'm counting the days until I quit. This is where I am. Or until I don't need to do this anymore, because I don't want to do it any more than you wanted me to do it.
Which is one of the points of contention why I really wanted this story to be part of it, because if we forget our past, we're never going to get better, ever.
I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, it just continues to repeat itself. People treat people like shit constantly.
People want to forget it. People want to forget what happened. If you forget history, you're doomed to repeat it.
And what's happened time and time again.
I wanted to say one last thing, and then I want to get Bob its chance to chime in on it. What good does this really do?
Nothing.
Honestly, like if you boil down, okay, this person, whoever it is, did these horrible or did a horrible or controversial whatever.
If it was somebody out there that killed a bunch of babies or something and they made a statue of it.
You see, I am not the only one that cuts people off. Fuck you guys.
You're right. Basements.
Oh, I cut everybody off. I'll own it.
Yeah. He's in charge of the stream anyway. So, but like, okay, so like, we can't do this. We need to make this right. Okay, so we're gonna do to make this right. We're gonna take down the statue. How does that make it right? How does that fix the pro? Like, I'm not. Again, not glorifying or condoning the actions of the bad behavior or whatever you want to call it, or the horrible atrocity.
Correct.
But realistically, what are you like? Okay, you're not glorifying them for that reason. Fair enough, but other than that, that's like what else are you realistically accomplishing? How about just throwing it out there, you do research into what the issue was or what they did, and I don't know, volunteer, donate to certain charities or causes that help with whatever, connected to that atrocity, as opposed to wasting time and money towards something that really at the end of the day no one's going to remember happened in fucking 5 years anyway.
You think removing a statue he disappears? No.
Once you graduate high school, you forget about history anyway. Unless you go to college for it.
I never forget about history.
Well, no, but don't, you're missing the point, Gina. Don't. Yeah,
what
really.
The fuck? I didn't even say anything. That was basement. Like, what the fuck?
I am also Gina. we are Gina. We are many.
What I'm saying is I have a niece who is taking history. I guarantee it. I ask her a question about history and she'll look at me and go, "What? I don't need to know that anymore." Well, you kind of do, but that's the mentality of once you're past. They put it out in school, but nobody ever really learns from it.
The thing is, I remember the themes of history, and because they're used so often in other mediums that I watch, I'll never forget those themes. I don't remember the exact names, locations of everything because I'm not like somebody super involved with history. I don't like. I mean, it's like everything else. If you don't use it daily, you're not going to remember that kind of shit. But the themes and everything of history, yeah, like, and I mean, you could see, yeah, I mean, it's obviously cyclical.
Yeah.
The problem with history is they're
There's so many
rewriting
versions
the history
of
books
it.
They're literally rewriting the history books for kids to learn these days and they are eliminating some of the things that we learned, and that is just not okay.
Some of the things we learned weren't right either. So like,
I agree with you, but like what I'm trying to say is, you can't eliminate a part of a history course for a child just because it was an ugly part of history. They still need to understand that part of history, because that is the only way that our youth is going to have any fucking chance whatsoever of changing the way that the world is.
In my experience, sorry, yeah, Bobby, you should probably give your.
Bobby, go ahead. Let's hear what you have to say. Moving on. I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Bobby.
If we keep doing this, eventually 20, 30 years down the road, somebody's going to look back on these people and go, "Oh my God, he was such an inspiration," like a slave owner or something. Be like, "Oh my God, he was such an inspiration," and try to repeat it.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, I think he's just saying that history will repeat itself.
Yeah, history repeats, but not to the specificity he's saying. I don't think.
If this shit continues, we're going to get to a point to where white people will not want to talk to black people at all. They're going to think that they're this, that, and the other, because that was the way that they taught. We're eventually going to have segregation again if this shit continues.
Well, here's the thing: there's actually been a request from some black leaders to go back to segregation, which is kind of ridiculous in my point of view, because
I've already seen inklings of it in my real world, which is fucking weird.
I think that is so fucking ridiculous to me, because their ancestors or their grandparents or whatever fought so hard in order to get equal rights. So why would you want those?
Well, the natural progression of equal rights is to get them and then demand more.
Yes, that's all the only reason they're doing it.
They want the pendulum to switch.
Yes,
like,
they want to
unfortunately-
have-
And by
they
they,
want-
I'm saying like a very select few. I am not by any means
Yeah.
saying that.
I agree
Like,
with
a lot
that.
of
It's
You're
unfortunate, but it's true. Like if there's a vocal group of people that are fighting for something, just think about it logically as a human being, right? If you feel like your people or whatever you identify as has been held down for so long, and you finally get like a leg up, a leg up is technically people are going to treat you like everybody else, okay? They're going to do their best to try. But because you're so used to fighting for something, it's hard to give up. Because the thing people want most in life is to like have purpose. So think about losing that purpose and being like, well, we finally got what we wanted, but is it enough? And every time I've seen
No,
like
you're
the
right.
vocal majority of people looking for equal rights get
Never
what's
enough.
close to it, and then they part of that group demands more and more and more. It's like it's fucking the black hole in the human soul.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, we should move on.
Not wrong.
Anyway, moving on to food.
I'm so hungry.
I couldn't think of a better way to transition to that next segment, so I just thought, fuck it, we're gonna
From talking about slavery and shit like that to
yeah, it's just to make things a little bit more, little ease up on these conversations. So this one's a little fun one. Apparently over in the good old UK, British people over in the UK, apparently one supermarket chain in Britain is eliminating use-by dates on 90% of milk sold in their store by the end of the month. So this is a bizarre one to me.
Makes no sense
because
to me at all.
So
No.
the decision is part of an effort to reduce the enormous amount of quantities of milk they're being discarded due to a misunderstanding over printed expiry dates. And I actually know this because I worked in food industry as well. And it's a very common misconception here in the US as far as the best buy date or the expiration date. People think that the best buy date is the expiration date, and that's most of the time not true. It's usually or at least the intention of the manufacturer is it for it to be the peak date of freshness, meaning after that it's not going to be so fresh afterwards.
They should
But
have
to
a
do
do
this,
not
we're-
sell date.
Yes, yeah, sell by dates. Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, and apparently the store said that the best way for people to determine this is the good old sniff test. Quote, customers should check milk by holding the bottle to their nose. If it smells sour, then it may have spoiled.
You have to open it.
they're gonna go through so much more.
So
milk.
what's going to happen here? And the reason I said stop right there. So you're going to open up a bottle and you sniff it, and it's now you bought it because that's the way.
Even if it's
People
not
want-
bad, some people will be like, doesn't smell right. I want the other one.
Exactly, and then you're gonna have a bunch of open milk, which is gonna cause it to expire even more rapidly.
I don't think it's going to fix the waste problem of milk, to be honest.
I mean, I'll be
Why wouldn't
honest.
Why wouldn't they just cut the quantity of milk that they're sending to the store?
Oh, that'd be too easy. That'd be too easy. But no, I mean,
So I live in the dairy state, all right, and I'm going to tell you right now, we have a shortage of milk here.
I live in a
Woof.
giant dairy state, and we do not have a shortage of milk.
We
They are
have.
constantly
We
cooking.
live in the biggest state. We live in the state that produces the most dairy, and we have a shortage of milk. I go to the store.
That's because you eat too much cheese.
I got
Gee.
nipples. Can you milk me?
It's a fucking joke, JP.
I know it. But what I'm saying is we literally have a shortage of milk. Like I can go to the store and and I live in a town of 1,000 people, and we go to the store in a town of about 2,000 people, and there is 1 gallon of milk, and everybody is fighting over it.
I will
Yeah,
say,
I have that problem.
A fucking
They
state
sniff it?
that produces the most dairy products. Explain that.
did they sniff it?
maybe you have transportation issues.
You can't open up. You
No, I
can't
know.
open up. You can't open it up because if you open it up, you buy it.
Well, here's the thing. I know that you guys live in a pretty rural area. Like, does it have something to do with like the rural area part that they're just not delivering as much there?
No,
Or...
Gina, there are dairy farms all around me right now.
Yes, I
Alpha-
understand. Hence why I said you live in a rural area.
Alpha in the chat said something really fun,
Shortage
interesting.
of milk because
During the pandemic, when there was an overflow of milk, they were told, dump it out.
yes.
Oh, cut back on the
Nice.
production. Gotcha.
Alpha in the chat said really something interesting. He said, eliminating expiration Delta milk, that's effing stupid. So you mean to tell me that the UK is now trying to forcefully sell stale milk and intentionally get people sick? Like, what the literal fuck? I mean, that's a good point. I mean,
I don't think it's
I get
selling
that
stale milk. They need to have an expiration date, but the problem is there's no actual set number of days before everyone knows milk is bad. You might
Correct.
still
And-
have
and you
curdled
know what?
milk before its expiration date. It's best before,
Mhm.
but that ensures that they're selling you fresh milk. So there's
So
going to
you
be
know
that
what?
wiggle room of days past that you could probably drink that fucking milk.
We all know that milk is pasteurized, which adds more days to the milk, right?
Yeah.
I grew up on a farm, on a dairy farm. My grandma and grandpa produced. So come on. We lived on a dairy farm. You get the milk, you get it that day. Grandma would send my grandmother would send me up with a gallon jug of milk and go grab a gallon before the people got there to come and take the milk.
You know, the fact of the matter is,
Dairy farmers don't run out of milk because they can get milk all the time.
Yeah,
The problem is
Give me that milk.
you know, doing. Oh, go ahead, sorry, David.
I just want a glass of milk.
well, what I'm trying to explain is that California is part of
California.
the problem because they produce milk at a high rate, but nobody can come and pick up the fucking milk because they won't let fucking truck drivers come and get the fucking milk. And I know we're talking about dates of expiration and stuff, but this is the bigger problem is the shortage. Because California won't let people come and get the milk because they aren't fucking vaccinated to come and get the milk.
During
They can-
this era of the virus, everything's been fucked up.
Well,
right.
and
So
back,
the expiration, milk usually lasts once the date is put on there. You usually have like 5 to 6 days before it actually.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'd buy it. Like, okay, first of all, here they're not going to put out milk that's best before date is today, and you're buying it. All that milk is
Especially in
like
fucking bags in your
usually
Bizarro world over there.
like,
We
fucking
buy
bag
milk
milk, so fucking good.
We-
Yeah,
we-
but so
we buy a gallon. We buy a gallon of milk, and it's
Yeah.
usually about 3 weeks. The date on the date.
yeah,
is-
it's a couple weeks at least. Yeah,
That's usually the sell by date.
and I can tell you with
But-
the way I drink milk, that shit's gone nowhere close to that date.
Correct. Well, Wendy can go through a gallon of milk because she loves her chocolate fucking milk.
Oh, milk's so good.
Mhm.
Chocolate milk's good too. Oh fuck, I want some milk.
It is. And that's what I grew up on was
I
chocolate.
mean, well, chocolate milk's not as good for you as
I don't
white
give a
milk.
shit.
Well, if I can actually
No,
put a
chocolate
word
milk
out-
sometimes is good because it's 1%.
We're not talking about the pre-made chocolate milk. We're talking about getting regular whole milk and making it chocolate.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, the thing that's kind of dangerous about the whole, like, to Alpha's point about fucking the Best Buy date is, yeah, okay, the Best Buy date may not be the expiration date. You might get some more usage out of it. The problem, though, is that milk's one of those rare food items that you can't really fucking eyeball it. Yeah, the smell, like, it'd be different if you could be like, oh, I can clearly
You
see
can
that
kind
those
of
blueberries
eyeball
are
it if
going
it's one
bad.
of
Or,
those glass things.
Oh, you
Well,
it
can
gets
tell.
chunky as
You
fuck.
can tell. If
Well,
the milk
here's the
is
moving.
Wendy.
it's starting
Sorry.
to move on its own. No, it's good. It's starting to
Tina,
move on
what's
its
the
own. But I
thing?
mean,
I don't know.
What?
Can I talk now?
No.
Yeah.
No. You've talked enough, young lady. I'm just
All
kidding.
right,
Go
then
ahead.
go ahead.
Okay.
No, go ahead. I don't have anything
no.
to say. I'm being a smartass. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that as of late, I have been buying milk, and the expiration date isn't for like another 2-3 weeks.
Yes.
But the milk is actually expiring before the date is even up,
Well,
which
that's
is
Wait,
very abnormal for the brand of milk that I buy. It recently started happening within the last like 6 months.
So
That's
the milk is
because
actually
they're
going
mass-
bad before the time frame?
It's
You wanna know
going
why that
bad
is?
before the
Oh.
date. And it
You want to know why
usually-
that is? Because they're mass producing it, and this is these big businesses that are selling the milk. They're mass producing it, and then they're just like, "Oh, we need to get this out because it's going bad, and we'll just put a date on it." They don't give a fuck.
We should all
about
just
you.
buy a
Yeah,
cow.
but I mean, this like never fucking happened before, but within the past like 6 months, it has started happening more and more frequently. And I get so fucking
Well-
pissed because you go out and you spend $4 and whatever cents a fucking for a gallon of milk, and you think you have at least 2 weeks at least on it. And then my kids go to pour a bowl of cereal, and they're like, "Mom, the cereal tastes bad. The milk is bad."
So you spent the $4, right?
Yeah.
That's all they care about.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I drink enough milk to never really have to worry about even like the at best before date. I'm not reaching that ever. But sometimes I
no.
guess like with you guys as well, with you, Gina, and JP and them, because you are like secluded a bit more. I guess you can get milk at the fucking gas station or whatever, but it's still not like I can fucking walk 10 feet and get milk. So
Yeah, well, I have to drive uptown to the gas station or to the grocery. I buy my milk from the grocery store, but usually
you probably buy
okay, if
more than the allotted amount, and that's why you're probably
Okay,
like
that's-
I only
Here's
will
the
buy
thing,
the one
like-
carton of milk, and I'll definitely finish it before it goes
Well,
bad. But
I buy a gallon of milk, and I'm in
listen,
a house
I
full.
don't
I am
work
in a
with
house full.
gallons.
Well, you shut your face.
Yeah.
I don't live in Canada,
With
so
bags.
but yeah, you work with fucking.
How many
bags.
is that
You
in
know
bags?
You know what? Though? You know what? Though I will. Listen, I will agree with him on the bagged milk, though, especially the bagged
some good
chocolate milk.
milk.
'Cause
Yeah.
we have Quick Trip here, right? And Quick Trip, they don't sell, or at least they didn't used to. I think they now sell them in the gallons, but their gallons of milk used to come in bags,
Bags.
and their
Backwards.
chocolate milk was fucking phenomenal in the bag. It was so good.
It's so
Oh
good
my
to
God.
touch too.
That is taken care of.
Yeah, but the only thing that I have a complaint for, I don't know about you guys up there. Maybe you get like the spouts or whatever that are attached to the bag that you can just open.
Oh
up the
no!
spout.
You just cut the bag and then you hold the back part of the bag while you pour.
Right.
Do you
but
have a
then
bag
to
holder?
pour-
Do you have the bag holder?
No, we don't have a bag holder.
Oh, you
so
gotta
we
get the
would
bag
have-
holder. Then you're
we would
missing
have
the
to have
whole.
it-
Fucking backwards
So we
country
would-
people.
We would have to like put it in a pitcher, and then in the pitcher it doesn't stay fresh. as
Oh
long.
yeah, you pour it out in a pitcher. No, that's not good. You need a bag holder.
I
We
don't
started
have
off
a
with
bag
fucking
holder.
we started off with
You need to
discussions
get a
about the
bag holder.
advancement in gaming technology, and we're fucking talking about fucking goddamn bag holders for your milk now. It's
Honestly,
amazing how far we've come in an hour and a half.
Bag holder. Bag milk is good. You just need a bag holder.
Bag milk is pretty goddamn good.
You know why the Quick Trip milk is so good?
Because they
'Cause
come in
it's
it.
locally produced.
Yeah.
From Jim in the back.
It's locally produced.
Jim's all jammed up
It's the
recently.
freshest you're gonna get.
It's the freshest you're gonna get. That's why Quick Trip milk
Well,
is good.
yeah, but like
I just
the
suck it
milk
out of the
that-
cow.
milk that I buy at the grocery
Tastes like
store
shit.
is also locally produced. So
True. We're
I
lucky.
want to milk a cow.
It's not fun.
Really? I feel like
really
it feels
not.
kind of
Yeah,
weird.
Move
Good.
around,
It's
and
like
it's a lot harder
weird
than you actually fucking
alien
think it is.
penises that you're working at the same time.
Dude, basement, come visit us. We'll take you to his cousins. They're farmers.
Well, I don't want to.
It's-
I only want to do it for the amount of time I want to do it for.
It is legitimately a lot harder than you think.
If you want the experience, he will help you get the experience.
Yeah, but
You really
then you have to like
fucking
pasteurize
pull
it.
on
and
that.
shit.
But you really have to pull on that teat in order
wanna-
to fucking get
I want
the
to
milk
make it
out.
feel. I
It's
want
not
to fucking
a
hurt
pure
that cow.
yank either. It's not just a pure yank
It's
either.
the
You gotta
pinch,
go.
right?
Yeah, you got finger by finger as you're pulling down.
Oh,
Finger by
yeah.
finger as pulling
Yeah.
down.
You're
Connor's like, what the fuck is happening? Look at him. Look at him right now.
It's like you guys walk away, you come back. Me and the cow are smoking cigarettes.
It's like you're
Oh my
when you
God.
first. It's like when you first start masturbating. You know how you do it slowly.
I did it by accident.
You pull really hard.
Oh God, are we about ready to hear
No.
fucking basement's
No.
accidental fucking masturbation in the
Well,
shower?
you know, yeah, it was in the shower.
I know you told me the fucking
Speaking
story.
of that, Connor's drinking a thing of milk.
Oh, yeah. Why isn't it in a bag,
You know
you
what?
fuck?
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I literally just said before, I really want a glass of milk right now.
All right, enough milk. We can
enough
go away
milk.
from milk. Though I love milk. You know what? I can't taste the difference between 2% and 1% anymore.
I
Amazing
drink,
how you just said let's get away from it and then you just kept going.
Yeah.
I drink nothing but 1% because I got so used to it when I was pregnant because that was the only thing that Wick would allow me to get.
Well, the difference they add water to that.
Yeah.
Fucking water.
Yeah, but I don't taste it
1%.
anymore. I used to be able to taste it.
Well, see, 1%
Now I'm
doesn't
not
bother
just
me
I'm not
because
just into
when
homo anymore, you know?
1% doesn't bother me at all because like when I was growing up, my mom would buy 2% milk, but I was a weird kid and I like my
Well, you're
milk
kind of a
really
weird
fucking-
adult too.
Well, I mean, I'll take that, but I like my milk really fucking cold, right? Like really cold.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when I was a kid, it wasn't cold enough, so I would put ice in my milk,
Gross.
which would basically turn
you
it
know
into
that
like
killed one of
1%.
you know that killed one of our presidents by doing that, right? Bobby, do you have anything to add to that?
Teddy Roosevelt. He died from ice milk.
No, that was I can't remember his name. I think it was Taft. No, Taft got shot. Bobby, do you have anything to add to that?
All I'm gonna say is after hearing about jerking and stroking it, I might go smoke here in a minute.
Oh my God, shut the fuck up.
He's gonna go
Moving
milk
on.
himself.
I do not know what happened to his mic, but it's driving me nuts.
Just turn
You
him up
better
to the
fix that
max
by Monday,
on
Bobby.
Discord. You can hear him. It's not good, but it's good enough.
I can hear.
So so switching gears here,
My computer sucks. Sorry, Connor.
no, you're good. I was gonna save this one for last, but I figured let's get this one out of the way now, and I say it was something a little bit more. I don't want to say lighthearted, but I guess lighthearted. You know, we were talking a little bit about like earlier, obviously with the statue removals and stuff. This one was a this one's another one that I'm sure is going to be very controversial and
Not for me.
very deep discussion, especially for I'm not trying to pick on you, JP, but for you, JP, about the Fairfax school telling children of military members that apparently they have privilege.
I actually
On that note, I'm gonna go to the bathroom because he's gonna. 15
I
minutes
actually
or
put
so.
this one in here.
He's
that?
the one who actually put that article in the Discord for us to read over, and all I have to say is that teacher had no fucking business doing that.
It
'cause
wasn't
They
even the-
don't know what a military family.
It
goes
wasn't
through.
even a fucking teacher. It was a goddamn fucking principal.
My question is
So
this like part of a curriculum, and why are they allowed
Well,
to do
yeah.
it?
Let me get to that. So, in Fairfax County, Virginia, public schools curriculum has students play a privilege bingo, giving them privilege points if they are white, male, employed, or involved in extracurricular cis activities. Excuse me. Or feel represented in the media. There's actually a whole grid of this whole thing. But it also says that one. Yep, you have the full list there. It also says that one of the privileges, if they are a military kid, drawing shock from parents who pointed out, and this is a very, very good point, that children of the military members must move away from their friends constantly, not see one of their parents for months on end, potentially deal with post-traumatic stress disorder, and obviously the unfortunate risk of becoming fucking orphans. Parents who complained received a note from the assistant superintendent that said, quote, "The screenshot you reference comes from an approved FCPS English curriculum lesson that is centered around students selecting a choice test and examining in detail the author's perspective on a wide range of issues. Students are asked in the lesson to read critically and think critically about the author's perspective on several fronts, including the author's privilege that may or may not be present in the work. Students are then asked independently and self-reflectively to juxtapose their thoughts regarding any perceived privilege that they think they may have and how that would potentially rewrite the portions of the text. Students are not asked to report out their self-reflections. The lesson is an adept vehicle to push student thinking, to challenge the author's thoughts, conclusions, and or to sharpen their abilities to critically read selected texts." Excuse me, frickin' milk. So, the concept or the thought process behind it is that it was supposed to be a thought engaging exercise, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word, to have.
According to that principle, it was to invoke critical thinking.
I'm gonna invoke paralyzation when I hit them with a car.
I sort of get the idea. I sort of get it, but I do
so
really
broken.
disagree with the idea of the mill. I know it's just
okay. So here's the thing: you're going to hear, but people, the guy when he made that statement, he's not thinking about that little fucking kid, where he's like. The kid is now, the teacher says, if you are in the military, and I'm not in this class, but if somebody read that to me, you are privileged if your father or mother is in the military. Can somebody please fucking tell me how in the fuck a kid is going to register that? So I'm a bad person. With the way the world is today, I'm a bad person because my mom and dad are in the military.
Right.
My mom and dad are bad people because they are. Which brings me to my point that I said about my dad earlier. I'm a bad person because I'm in the military. Who in the fuck are these fucking people that are telling my child that they have no right to say anything to anybody? And I understand, and I get what they're trying to do. But I've seen it in schools, and I hear it from my niece. If you speak out against what's happening, if you speak out against a certain political view, you are a bad person.
See, I guess I don't have to deal with
that. My niece has told me this.
Kid really doesn't have to deal with that per se. I mean, obviously, I'm not a military member, but just in general, because like I live in a very Republican area.
This whole list is fucking bullshit. I'm looking at the options that they choose for identifying what makes you privileged, and it's horseshit. Yeah, it's horseshit.
Yeah. I could see one of them is you're Christian, so you're fucking privileged.
Who?
AP's an L.
Who in their right fucking mind puts this out as a curriculum to make a kid feel like an insignificant piece of shit?
What? Yeah, the
way of bullying.
Here's the thing. They already feel a child in the military. You can ask my fucking daughter. This is why this pisses me off. She felt like an insignificant piece of shit. Because I was in the military. Because I was going to fight a war that everybody said, oh, we're fighting a war for blood and oil. But they really don't understand why we're fighting the war, or why I was going there, or why soldiers are doing what they're doing. People don't fucking understand.
Well, especially kids won't understand the grand scheme of how that shit works.
But the teachers are explaining to these kids that they are bad people, or that their parents are bad people because, and there are teachers out there doing this, and I don't care, and I don't care, and I do not fucking care. My uncle can tell me, well, it's a minuscule few. Isn't one too fucking many?
Well, the thing is, when you start doing things like this and you start selecting certain kids out, that's going to do nothing but perpetuate the cycle for bullying. And it's just going to make things 10 times worse. Now you're going to have military kids that are getting bullied, just like other kids are getting bullied. So instead of working on ways to eliminate bullying in school, no, let's just teach a curriculum that singles certain kids out so those kids can now get picked on.
The thing that blows my mind, like, military kids makes no sense to be part of this, but it's not the only thing that makes no sense. Where is I come from the richest family known to mankind? They don't even talk about money in this fucking thing, except for the one thing that says, I don't have to worry about food. And that's
nobody has to worry about food.
No, but like the idea is, you can basically fit into a category where you're gonna hit multiple of these, yet you're fucking privileged up the ass.
Yeah, everybody. If you and I get it. not everybody can go out and fucking have a steak dinner every other fucking day. But even that rich kid is now feeling like an insignificant piece of shit.
Just because his parents,
Just because he can afford to drink a glass of milk, or
but
he
the
can
thing
afford
is,
to eat a meal every day.
the problem is, privilege it should not mean you should feel like shit. It's out of your control. As a kid, if you have certain things that give you certain luxuries, you have no control over it. The problem is the media has made it seem like you're a bad person because you have privilege, because they've focused on very specific things. But
what is privilege?
I mean, to me, privilege, there's a couple things that will make somebody privileged. And a lot of it has to do around not having to care about the things that are most important to anybody that struggles in the real world. Like, mentally healthy is one thing, I would say. Having not to worry about money is huge, because it can lead to you being unhealthy mentally. It can lead to every other problem you might have.
Yep.
But just because you have money,
Male, eat my fucking dick. What does that mean?
White is literally on there.
I know, like, it doesn't make any sense. Never lost a loved one. So now it's like, in order for me to feel special and underprivileged, I have to have lost everybody.
So Gina, you're less privileged than me because you haven't lost a parent. How does that make you feel? Doesn't this just sound stupid?
It's such a fucking bullshit.
Technically, if you want to get technical, I never had one of my biological parents, so.
No, Gina,
I'm fucking with you.
No, I'm literally asking you. How does that make you? I mean,
it doesn't make me feel
involved in extracurricular activities. A lot of those are sponsored through school, and don't cost you extra money to do because you're using the school equipment.
How about people body?
Here's the thing: I live in a town where most people live off of fucking credit cards.
What the fuck does free space mean?
Yeah.
Feel safe around police officers? Never in my life. They've all been dickheads.
Gina, go ahead and say what you were going to say. I know.
I forgot what I was going to say.
The free space thing broke me.
People live in your community, live off of credit cards. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, most people in my community live off of credit cards. So our kids are going to school in brand new fucking Nikes. Brand new fucking expensive clothes. Their teenage kids are having cars bought for them and all this stuff. And everybody seems to treat those kids better. Because everybody thinks that their parents are somehow at a higher level because they have, quote unquote, have money.
But what they don't realize. A lot
of these people that I know personally, that everybody thinks has so much money, are so fucking far in debt, it is not funny. They are maxing out credit cards left and fucking right, just to make sure that their kids have the tip-top best fucking shit ever. And it's not even the fucking kids that start the shit, it's the parents. So parents are like, oh, no, my kid has to have the fucking best of everything. Why don't we talk about that?
Here's the thing, and I used to date a girl, and Heather knows her.
She's a bitch. She's a mother.
I'm not.
Oh yeah, okay. No, she's actually a really good person.
A really good person, and I understand why she did what she did. But she would tell me, well, I don't want the kids to know that we don't have a lot of money. So why in the fuck would I want to give any of them $20 a piece for doing nothing?
Right.
And she's like, well, I just don't want them to know. Well, what if I don't have that $20? Then they're gonna fucking know. So why are you?
Listen, I don't hide anything from my kids.
So the people with credit cards, you realize that credit cards do nothing more than add to your debt, and debt can be a good thing because it builds your credit. However,
you have to pay it off at some point.
If it does, but if you continue to just max out your credit cards like within a month, you're going to be so far in debt that you're not going to be able to pay anything off. And then guess what? then you're fucked. You can't buy a house. You can't buy a car. And anybody that goes and fucking buys a car on a fucking credit card is a fucking moron.
Not only that, but okay, Austin had this friend. Actually, they were twins, so it was two friends. But their mom and dad was one of these particular people that I'm talking about. They live off of fucking credit cards. Now, mind you, they had their own house and all this stuff, but everything that they owned was on credit cards, except for, I mean, obviously, except for their house loan. But, anyways, but because of the insecurity of their mother and their mother wanting to be seen as being more privileged, and the mother using the credit cards to buy all of these things for her kids, she turned her kids into fucking monsters. One of them, these were the most, when I think of privilege, I think of kids that act privileged, not necessarily that they are the kids that act like they are privileged. Yes, and one of these little boys, it was to the point where he was so fucking privileged that if he had to get a brand new pair of Nikes every month, and if for some odd reason, if his mother would not buy him a brand new pair of Nikes every month, this kid would throw a temper tantrum the size of a fucking monsoon. It was ridiculous. Those are the kids that these teachers should be fucking focusing on and trying to correct not only their behavior, but their parents' behavior. Why are they singling out military children only because their mother or their father is over there protecting our fucking country?
It's not just military children, but it's also able-bodied children, children that college is the expectation.
Let me ask you this question, okay?
I think the article tried raising awareness to why are we talking about military? Because there is nothing.
Military kid makes no sense.
To tell you right now, there is nothing privileged about the military.
Well, and here's the thing. I knew a lot.
Absolutely nothing. You get up at fucking 3 o'clock in the fucking morning and fucking go and do a fucking duty. And then fucking tell me how privileged that really is.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, JP, you know where I'm from, okay? And there's a big military post where I'm originally from. You know this.
Yeah.
My home state. So all of my cousins and all of that, my family's a big military family. I look at my cousins and I do not consider them privileged because their parents are in the military. If anything, I would have considered myself more privileged than they were. You want to know why? Because my parents worked their ass off in order to buy me a house. They worked their ass off in order to put food on my shelf. And don't get me wrong, so did theirs. But they also had to move around the fucking country every couple of years whenever their parents were restationed to another fucking post.
So that's my point. My point is, there is nothing privileged about being in the military, and any soldier will tell you this. I was in the Army for 23 years. I had to get up at 4 o'clock just to make it to battle assembly, and if I was late, I could get in trouble. I could lose pay because I was late. That's how they operated. They didn't fire you.
And this is why I was never in the military.
Well, my real point is there is nothing privileged about being in the military. And anybody could fucking think, and I actually, this brings awareness to Virginia itself, and thank God they got the governor that they do because he's trying to stop this. In the article that the governor that they got, he actually, he did an executive order trying to put a stop to this because this shouldn't be taught in schools. And if you're gonna have a kid critically think about something, have him read an article and then have him critically think about that.
Listen,
that's how you do it.
All that this is going to end up doing is going to create a culture of kids that believe that being in the military is something that is a bad thing. And then when they grow up, you're going to have a shortage of people in the military because even further one, because nobody's going to want to join because they think that it's quote unquote bad.
So let me ask you this.
I think this article, and I want to say this, and what this article did nothing but raise awareness to what's being taught in the school systems.
Right.
And in the military, you start talking shit about the military, and people are going to be like, oh, really? Because I don't find them to be too privileged. Now the generals and stuff, they're privileged.
Oh fuck yeah,
they're privileged. That motherfucker makes the general of the army probably makes about $85,000 a month. He almost makes more than the fucking president does. Okay, put that in fucking perspective. Just saying.
What were you saying?
So, look at this. You're born a white male kid whose family is Christian.
But that's
his family
fault.
is Christian, and then one of his parents goes to the military,
and he's able-bodied.
He's able-bodied. They stick together, even though their marriage is strained because one of the parents is never there, and when they do see each other, they tend to argue about things, but they stay married. He's a heterosexual kid who he feels comfortable walking outside because he lives in the rural, bumfuck nowhere, and nobody's around. And he's also employed because he wants to get out of his house because every time his parents are around, they fight. That makes you hit every fucking half the squares on this piece of bullshit. It doesn't sound too great to me.
No, it doesn't.
No, which is my point.
I mean, and if this principal really thinks that being in the military is so privileged, I hope he never has a family member.
I hope he goes into the military
during time of war, because I'm going to tell you right now, my cousins, I had 3 cousins in the Iraqi war. My family turned into fucking... My family turned into Ron Weasley watching the news every night waiting to hear their names.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just really stupid fucking graph that means nothing and nobody thought it out. Because they just are like, what are the things that make people privileged in my dumbass fucking brain?
But the thing is the principal or the principal or the superintendent, whoever said it, and Connor, you're probably looking at the article because I've been saying principal. I think it was superintendent that actually said that.
It's stupid.
Either way, it doesn't
matter. So my point is he's sitting here saying, well, the only reason that we do this is we want our children to critically think.
This is going to make me critically think about how fucking dumb the school is I go to.
Here's the thing. When you were taught, is this a high school or an elementary school?
High school.
It's a high school. One of the options is employed. If you're fucking employed in a grade school.
It's not even a high school. I want to say it's a middle school or an elementary school.
Well, the thing that
it's got to be a high school. Employed?
The reason why I was asking whether it was a high school, elementary school, whatever, is if you're making the argument. But if you're making the argument that you want your kids to be able to critically think, while I think it's a fucking stupid argument to begin with, kids cannot critically think at that level until they hit a certain age. And it's all based on fucking the child individually themselves. You can't take 5th graders and throw this shit at them and expect them to be able to critically think, because then all they're going to think in their head is, oh, fuck, military bad.
Well, that's what
this is training to make certain people hate themselves for no reason.
Yes.
Which is fucking bullshit.
But their argument is that this is to help them become.
Then this graph needs to be about 5,000 times larger.
Yeah,
like the bingo spot, like the free space. Is that?
That's what it is. It's bingo. You scratch that one off first. Some kid in the classroom gets up. Bingo.
You're privileged in the free space.
I loved Basement. He's like, they use this. What the fuck is free space? Oh God. So I mean, the chat pretty much agrees. I mean, right now in the chat, I mean, we had the 6 votes and 100% agree that just because you have it just. But Bob, any thoughts you want to chime in on this whole ordeal?
Or Connor?
No,
but it's mostly.
I live in this fucking state, and I hate this. I don't want to go on a 20-minute fucking rant.
Yeah, you do. I want you to.
I won't be able to hear it. But
okay. So according to this fucking idiot, I'm privileged because my fucking grandparents are dead. You can go fuck yourself with an iron board, you sick motherfucker.
So the governor, the Bobbit, before you go off on a tangent, the governor that you have is trying to get rid of this shit, which is a good thing.
Yes. This shouldn't even be in the fucking schools to begin with. So I'm privileged because I'm white and my grandparents are dead. Fuck you!
Hey,
there we go. Now I heard
you.
Yeah,
you're actually less privileged because your grandparents are dead. So. Yay, I guess.
Hey, guess like what? You guys want to? I have a little fun little tidbit that you guys just to kind of steer the topic from something that Connor's not about ready to say. Fucking, you guys know Dog the Bounty Hunter, right?
Yes.
I am the dog.
His daughter, the one that was like, fucking going against him and shit.
No.
His daughter, like, it's actually Beth's daughter. Cecily. She now just announced that she is on OnlyFans.
Oh, nice. Does she look like him? Because I hope so.
No, she looks just like Beth, actually. But
so she's blocked
that
of
was
a
a fun little tidbit because it's like she is purposely doing everything that she possibly can just to fucking piss Dog off.
Hey, look,
she's just doing everything she can to remain relevant.
Beth had big hoo-haws, okay,
and so does Cecily.
They're hooters. Hoo-ha is down there.
Okay, she had big hooters.
She had big hoo-has. Why did she have so many vaginas?
Right.
She had multiple vaginas.
Cecily's got at least D cups, if not bigger than that. She's got
one
some.
Is Cecily? Does he have more than one daughter?
Oh God, yeah. He's got like fucking 15 or something like that.
How do you spell Cecily?
One of them died on his show.
Cecile, I believe. Oh, EY, I think. I was scrolling through Facebook and I'm like, oh my God, it's like she's literally doing everything possible to, one, stay in the spotlight, and two, just piss the fuck out of Dog. Which I understand. She's like super angry with him because he cheated on her mom when her mom was dying. You know, that's pretty fucked up. That's gonna piss somebody off.
I'm going in for a closer look.
I'm gonna
but anywho,
to the call.
Anyway.
Anyways, yeah, we can move on from Cecily.
Thank God.
Moving on. This one is this whole thing is still a little perplexing to me, this concept, and figured we switch gears over to everyone's favorite subject, NFTs.
Oh yes.
So, I have no fucking idea what that shit is. None.
Okay, well,
essentially it's digital art you can buy with either a lot of fucking cash or Bitcoin.
So it's fucking retarded.
Yes.
Okay.
It's non-fungible.
So the way Heather explained it to me is you put a picture.
You buy this picture.
And then people can make money off of the picture that you have, but you can't.
What it is with Twitter, as the article says, it's going to be allowing people to use NFTs as their profile pictures. And with wonderful technology of very easily using your phone to screenshot shit, you can open that person's profile picture, take a screenshot of that said NFT, and then make millions of dollars without having to spend any money of your own.
So you could like buy the GIF of Gunther with his sweaty mouth.
Sounds like the fucking dumbest
shit
I've
my
ever
tra-la-la. And then anytime anybody uses it, you somehow make money.
Let me get this straight. They took my fleets away in order to give me this shit?
They give you flocks.
Oh, fuck. Listen.
What the fuck?
Oh my God. You guys know.
They took it away a while ago.
I know, but like, I actually enjoyed the fleets.
Those are
okay?
the dumbest things that they ever fucking did, even on.
No, the dumbest things that they ever did is this shit.
Well, this is not Twitter doing this. Too. This is just the world.
This is dumb too, but that fleet shit was even dumber.
I like the fleets. It was like it was comparable to Instagram's.
Every time I look on fucking Twitter, something would fucking crash because everybody was doing the fleet thing.
Oh, my Twitter never crashed.
Fleets was basically like Twitter's version of TikTok, right?
No, it was Twitter's version of Instagram stories.
I don't know
Same
what that
thing.
is. I'm not an Instagram model.
I mean, we can tell. Look. Have you seen the size of your arms?
Have you seen the size of my penis?
No.
So-
Thank God.
So yeah, to kind of recap, NFTs are basically digital forms of, I guess you could equate it to like digital stock almost, that you have ownership of a digital product that's usually an image that
How do you make
can
money
use.
off of it if nobody pays to use it?
Well, it's because it's the value of it. It's think of it like, I guess the most simplistic way that
So
I
it's the more
understood
it's
it.
Buying a
used, the
form
more
of
value
art?
it has.
Hold on. So
Well-
is it basically like
I don't know.
buying a form of digital art? It's like you would
It's
go
like-
and buy an
Yes.
art piece.
It's like
Yes.
cryptocurrency,
Or a
Like-
trading card.
so it
Okay,
makes no sense.
So
Right.
like in the real world, comparing it to
Or
the real
milk.
world, you go to an art auction and you buy a piece of art
Yes.
for let's say $80,000.
Yep.
It's the same. Okay. Now
Exactly
I get
the
it.
same thing. Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, we're just arting ourselves on our fucking profiles. Okay, this is fucking retarded.
Yeah, I don't fully understand it because it seems really stupid to me. But I'm gonna buy one.
Listen, if I wanted to pay to see art, then I would just go to a fucking art gallery. Like, this is the dumbest
Like-
shit I've ever.
Call up Chris Masters.
A basement, I'm going to tell you right now, the cheapest one I have seen is $300.
Buying it. Which
Listen,
one is it?
I did.
It's actually a goat one too. I was like I said, if it wasn't if it was
Hey.
not $500 to buy it in cash form, I would have gotten one for the Horny Goat.
If we get
know what,
Bobbit
though?
to buy it for us,
Bobbit, sell one of your systems and buy us a goat.
Wait,
sell your body on the street. God damn it.
I didn't agree to this.
I just hear, wait, what? I didn't do this. I mean, I think
Sorry, Connor, go ahead.
I was just say I think the concept of NFTs is cool, but I don't think it was very well thought out. I think if
No.
you did this at the early ages or early stages of the internet, like when it was way back when,
I am
You know.
the dog.
you might have you might have had a better shot at this. But I think there's just it's such a vast new market that it's very
Well, this is their way of trying to introduce Bitcoin into using it as actual currency.
Okay, you guys, I after we get done talking about this, I actually have an update on a story that we did last week.
You better
It's a-
turn my cranks.
It's an update
Really?
on the pig heart surgery.
He exploded, didn't he? Oh, is that
He
the
did not.
update I shared?
He did not. Well, are we done talking about the NFT?
Yeah, I don't really have much.
I think
to
I think the
add
pig
to
heart's more interesting.
non-fungibles.
Oh, okay. So, the FYI, the guy with the pig heart is still doing good. He is still doing all right. But it came out that the first pig heart transplant patient was actually denied a human heart after failing to follow doctor's orders, which is why he got a pig heart.
That's even better. So
Didn't he
it's
stab
that matter
someone
of-
5 times or something too?
7 times actually.
Yeah, that's even
You
more
shared
than I
that in
thought.
the Discord basement.
It
No,
says
no.
it says it was a high risk
that's
experimental
great.
procedure, but Bennett, who is David Bennett Sr., the guy who got the pig heart, had nothing to lose by the time his surgeon, Dr. Griffith, suggested the pig heart. More than 1,006 people, or oh my god, more than 106,000 people in the U.S. are on the transplant waiting list for human organs. And then it goes on to describe how he got the pig heart because he was described as a severe obstacle that made Bennett ineligible for a human heart. What? That doesn't make any sense. He had a history of being medically non-compliant or failing to follow doctor's orders. So even though he was following his heart doctor at this time's orders, he had a history of not following doctor's orders, and that automatically made him ineligible for the heart list.
At least he was following his heart, doctor.
So he's heartless.
Yeah, it says other hospitals declined to put him on the national organ waiting list because he'd missed follow-up appointments and didn't take his prescribed medication consistently. So basically, he got a pig heart because he didn't listen
Nobody
to the
wanted to give him a human heart.
Like, what the fuck, man? Like, how do you not, like, you know you're dying of a heart condition, right? How do you not follow the doctor's orders? Like, oh my god. I just don't know.
I don't follow the doctor's orders. Maybe I'll get a pig heart.
Maybe.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
I just had to bring that up because I thought it was fucking hilarious.
No, it's all good.
I know last week we were like speculating about why he got a human heart or a pig heart instead of a human heart, rather.
Yeah, that is rather odd. But I did want to. God damn it! I just saw what basement turning all the fucking icons and all of our on the fucking stream. I just noticed now. Jesus.
Are we gonna talk about the guy with the big dick?
No. Wait. Why? Why? What's his name?
I don't know.
He's the current world record holder for the world's largest dick.
Who?
That picture.
This guy. He looks like Where's Waldo, except it's Where's my gigantic schlong.
Yeah, that's not Where's Waldo because it's like right there.
Oh, it's Where's Ernesto.
Oh, it's more like right here's Ernesto. Like,
there was a couple of things as we wrap up here on this week's.
You looked at it.
they're arguing back and forth. They're good.
Yeah,
I
well, yeah.
don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, it looks like he's smuggling a pipe.
Can't even look at it.
You stared into its eyes and he blinked. So, a couple things I want to wrap up here before we wrap up this week's No Bucks Given. I want to thank everybody for tuning in on the chat. Of course, we'll be we got a few last little tidbit things before we wrap up. I want to thank everybody in the chat. Thank you, everybody who's listening to us on your favorite podcasting platform. If you haven't subscribed already to the Horny Goat YouTube channel, it's the best way to get the episodes of No Bucks Given as soon as we stream them live for you. Plus, you can check out all the other cool stuff, including our Wednesday night gaming streamings, our movie watch-alongs, and of course, future episodes of No Bucks Giving and Marvel Roundtable, which we're coming up with a new episode this coming Monday with the Incredible Hulk. Not to be confused with the Amazing Bulk, which I hate Basement for suggesting that movie to me. Although I sort of love it. I just saw one clip and it was disgustingly beautiful.
I'm sorry, Connor. I have a question that was asked to me by one of our viewers last week. Exactly when is the podcast added to Anchor? Or uploaded to Anchor and all of the other platforms.
So you can actually listen to the podcast version or the audio version of this show and the Marvel Roundtable usually the day after we stream it. So Marvel Roundtable is done every other Monday, so it'll be available every other Tuesday. And No Bucks Given's done on Saturday night, so usually Sunday, Monday at the latest. You should have it on your podcasting sites.
Wonderful.
So usually really right after. I'd be remiss, obviously, if we didn't, in quick celebrity news, we did lose 2 more celebrities in 2022 because apparently why?
Fuck 2022.
Why?
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of people talking about we lost Betty White in the end of 2021. Going into 2022, we lost Bob Saget, and then of course this week, almost back to back, Meatloaf and Louis Anderson passing away. Which was just very like, oh, it's been less than 30 days into the year and we're already
celebrities.
Yeah, unbelievable. But in other celebrity news, to kind of pivot off of that, this is just a little fun, little cute article I figure we wrap up with. We kind of talked about this off air a little bit. Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter. Harry Potter will be playing Weird Al Yankovic in a biopic about his career. I am a massive Weird Al fan, so I am really looking forward to this.
And just so the audience doesn't sit there and go, what the actual fuck? This biopic is being written by Weird Al himself and being shown by Funny or Die. So it's not going to be anything majorly serious to start off with.
Okay, because I'm just like, why?
I don't really get the similarity
Me
between the two.
Listen, I don't look at Harry Potter and be like, hey, he looks like Weird Al.
He does
I mean,
not.
he's had some good roles.
Look, Daniel Radcliffe is a really good actor.
Is he?
What's up, Heist?
I think
He actually is.
What if I?
I
is.
don't know. He always comes off like Daniel Radcliffe.
it's good because he's really Daniel Radcliffe. Look,
No, it's like saying George Clooney's a good actor.
but he doesn't scream Harry like he did that one with horns.
I didn't see that one, but I saw his one where he had guns
That
screwed to his
movie,
hands.
I'm thinking, oh my god, it's going to be a Harry Potter movie, and it wasn't.
Listen, all I've seen him in is Harry Potter, so he is Harry Potter to me.
Well, he is Harry Potter, yeah,
So
but he
who
also
he
fucked a
is,
horse
he
on stage.
doesn't-
So
He does not. You would think, but you see the movie Horns, and he does not. He does really good.
I
He
saw
was
him in Guns
also
Akimbo,
in Now You
but
Can
he's
See Me
still
Too.
Harry Potterish to me.
Now You Can See Me Too with
Oh yeah, he did do that.
Yeah, he
played
still
He
comes
was-
off
wait,
as
he
Harry
was
Potter
in-
to me.
Hold on.
No.
Hold on. He was in Now You See Me Too.
Yeah, he was the bad guy.
He was the bad
Yeah.
guy in that movie.
I would also really
Now I have
recommend
to go and
checking out.
rewatch that movie.
I would also really recommend checking out Swiss Army Man. It's a very weird movie, but it was
Is that
a
where
lot
he's
of
like,
fun. Basically,
there's a
he's
dead guy
dead.
attached to his body
Yeah,
or something?
it's actually really fucking funny.
It's the
where
Riddler.
Basically, a man. Well, is he?
Yeah,
I don't agree
Isn't
with Daniel Radcliffe on a lot of things, but he is a really good
I
actor.
think it's the Riddler that's attached to him. Like his dead friend is the Riddler.
Oh! I thought you meant Daniel Radcliffe as the Riddler. I'm like,
Dan
what?
Radcliffe's Weird Al. Get it right.
I'm so fucking
But I'm a massive Weird Al fan, so this is going to be a lot of fun. So like Heather said, it's not going to be anything too serious. It's going to be pretty off the rail.
Funnier guy, so.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But I think that's pretty much hitting here, unless there was anything else anybody wanted to drop in or mention before we
Gina.
wrap up.
Gina, how about Tonga? How's that going for you?
Tongaloa.
the volcanic eruption. It was actually the largest volcanic eruption in over 30 years in the entire world. Just a little tidbit of information there.
one of the natives of the island, who is also currently over in the Olympics, has already raised, I think, $200,000.
Yeah, and I know
of the island.
But
I know Bad Luck Fale. If anybody watches New Japan Pro Wrestling, Bad Luck Fale is from Tonga, and he is also raising money for the island. However, the problem that they've been having, and I believe that they are starting to finally get ships and planes in, but because of the massive amount of ash that came out of the volcano, they were having a really hard time getting supplies, like much needed supplies, to the islands of Tonga.
just gonna say that's what happens when you live on a volcano.
I mean, they don't live on a volcano. This happened in the middle of the ocean. But
Right? You live on an island, right?
yes, but
Okay, so it's
the
a volcano.
volcano is in the ocean.
I thought the volcano was on the island.
Technically, no, it wasn't actually. It was in the ocean. And technically, the only reason why the volcano was in the ocean, if you guys know anything about tectonic plates and things like
do.
that, the tectonic plate that is actually sitting on is that form of plates between Tonga and Hawaii. Those plates, they move, and
Well, all
when they
plates move.
right? But obviously, but like with Hawaii, for instance, when that plate moves, most of the time the volcanoes on Hawaii are actually dormant, and it's because they are out in the ocean on the tectonic plate. It's only once every, I can't remember how many years, I think it's like once every 20 or 30 years, that the tectonic plate actually lines up directly to where it's underneath the actual visible part of the volcano.
So you do know that an island is a mountain, right?
You're a mountain
Um,
of a
Yeah.
man. San Andreas Fault is going to explode at some point in time.
Is they're living on a volcano. It's okay.
listen, just because
Aren't we
it's a
all
mountain
living
doesn't
on
mean that it's a
volcanoes,
volcano.
technically?
I mean, fucking the Rocky Mountains aren't a fucking volcano. Like,
Yeah, they're mountains.
If you dig deep enough, there's molten lava.
that's
Telling
because
you.
of Yellowstone. Like, that's the super
That's
volcano
just the
underneath it.
core
Listen,
of
I'm
the
not
Earth.
getting into this shit with you.
But here's
because
the
we'll be
before and
arguing
here's the
about it.
before and after pictures of Tongaloa.
Listen, the only reason why I wanted to bring this up was because it was the largest volcano in over 30 years, which is a big fucking deal because it was a pretty fucking big fucking volcano. And
you're gonna say when you started with cum.
the biggest thing right now is just everybody keep the people from the islands of Tonga in their fucking thoughts because
Were they able to like evacuate properly, or
most of the people they had enough time to where they got to higher ground and they were safe. I believe I haven't checked in a few days, but the last I checked there was only like 2 or 3 casualties from this. Right. But half of the island is covered in fucking ash.
I'm not trying to be a dick, but
you are. But go ahead.
What about when Mount St. Helens blew? Did they give a shit about when that happened?
Probably. I mean, I was like 4 when that happened, so I couldn't tell you.
It happened.
I cared a lot.
But Mount St. Helens is also attached to a very large continent to where we were able to get supplies to them immediately. The whole thing with Tonga is they were not able to get supplies to the people there.
We're part of the United States.
I came out of the womb protesting.
First of all, Tonga's not part of the United States. Second of all,
it's territory.
They couldn't get supplies to the people. That's what the big fucking deal was about it. Because there was too much ash. They couldn't get the planes in. They couldn't get the ships in. And I believe that they finally have that rolling. That's the last I'm going to say about this fucking topic. Moving on.
So how about Amy Schumer?
God bless her.
Amy Schumer. Seriously, fuck that bitch.
Fuck her.
Oh,
this is what she posted about her. Like, she has some uterus problem.
She went on this giant ass rant about there being no research for endometriosis. It's like, do you not realize how much research had to go into just finding the name for the fucking disease?
Well, the thing that kills me is she blamed that they're not doing any research because they're too busy looking up erectile dysfunction.
Here's the thing. That was my issue with it. Okay, my best friend has endometriosis. I can't fucking talk. Endometriosis.
You're good.
And my best friend has that. And she is on a treatment plan. Most of the time, the treatment includes, but not limited to, certain types of exercises, hormone replacement treatment, including like birth control and things like that. Because the whole point is with endometriosis, it just makes your flow heavier when it's your time of the month, and then you also get like really, 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 really like crippling bad pain, like cramps.
She got like scooped out.
But the thing is
a really bad pain.
But the thing is, when she starts making this into a man-bashing thing just because they have a pill for Viagra, that's where I have a problem. Because technically, there's no treatment for endometriosis. She's right. But
there's so much research, and there's other ways to handle it.
There's research, and while there's not a final treatment to make it go away, there are treatment plans to make your pain less. Like it decreases your pain. So there is a fucking treatment for it. It's just not one that goes away. But guess what? We don't have a fucking treatment for cancer. We don't have a treatment for a lot of things.
We are talking about a fucking woman who thinks that everything is everybody else's fault but hers.
What I don't get is the fact that she doesn't obviously realize that the reason that they would put more money into erectile dysfunction is because it's going to put more money back in their hands.
Exactly.
You don't think Big Pharma is a money-making business? Are you the dumbest motherfucker alive?
Oh.
There's so many things that don't have treatments out there, and for her to just like make this into another one of her man-bashing campaigns really fucking pissed me off, because it's women like her that make women in general look bad.
It's men's fault that she got endometriosis.
No,
it's also men's fault that she can't get treated for it properly.
No, it's men's fault because you guys have something that'll give you a stiffy, while she doesn't have a fucking treatment to put her out of her fucking misery.
I got a treatment for her.
There is something that'll put her out of her fucking misery.
It's called a Glock.
Her comedy will put her out of her fucking misery.
I'll take her back Old Yeller style.
it's just it was that whole thing just super angered me because this woman is just fucking ridiculous.
Every time I see her, I hate her more
everything.
because she doesn't. She seems to actively be trying to make people hate her.
She turns everything into some form of gender argument, and for what? Why? Why?
Because
Like,
I think she wants to be a
women.
man. She wants to be a man, but she can't be.
Listen, like, we're women, and I understand that for hundreds of years we were held down, but guess what? That's not the day and age that we are living in anymore.
But
Wake the fuck up. We have equal rights now.
Conversation. I don't think that's true. But
She
whatever.
doesn't have equal rights.
We have equal rights.
Did you check the board?
And just because they do not have a treatment to deal with her specific issue, she's gonna fucking start flipping out. Meanwhile, there's hundreds of thousands of people every fucking day that are dying from cancer.
Amy Schumer is a narcissist.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing: we get all these. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
You know it's perfect.
Bored.
It probably shouldn't be said.
You know it is bad when Basement won't fucking say it.
Yeah.
He's not live on air.
Amy
Yeah.
Schumer is a narcissist.
The second we get off the air, he's like, ah!
I'll bury that one in my treasure chest.
No, just wait till we get off the air. But speaking of which, I think we're pretty much good here. We're going to wrap up this week's edition of No Bucks Given. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, check us on your favorite podcasting platforms. If you're listening to us there, we're on Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and so many others, Stitcher as well. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the like if you guys are new here. Subscribe for more. And we'll see you guys next time on No Bucks Given. Make sure you guys come back on Monday for Marvel Roundtable, Wednesday for a gaming stream, and this Friday, it's going to be a good one. We're going to be doing a movie watch-along for the Leslie Nielsen movie Wrongfully Accused. So check all those out, and we'll see you guys next time for another episode of No Bucks Given. Thanks to everybody here on the call. Basement, Gina, Heather, JP, and Bobbit. You guys have a good night. Godspeed, and check that free space.
God bless.